Good morning, everybody. Welcome on back. It is Friday, January 26th, and I'm your host, BullMuscle. Welcome to the show. We got a good one for you today. It's going to be a squat day. It's going to be a lot of volume. It's going to be really difficult, and that's what makes it fun. So, I'm not going to mince about too much here. I got to get going. I got to start. Oh wow, several people already. That's cool. Today is the first day on our final week of the first half of our program. So it's going to be, this week's going to be pretty difficult. It's going to be our 5-set workout. So it's going to be 5 by 5 for squat today, press tomorrow, deadlift Tuesday, and bench press Wednesday. So that's going to be pretty difficult. Today's going to be hard. It's going to be good, but it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of numbers in the way. Sorry. Yes, okay. So I'm running 70s Powerlifter. And the way it works is it's an 18-week program. You have a volumizing section and a peaking section. We're at the tail end of the volumizing section. So it's 9 weeks, we're on week 9. All right? The volumizing section comprises 3 waves. A 10-rep wave, an 8-rep wave, and a 5-rep wave. Each wave comprises 3 weeks. A 3-set week, a 4-set week, and a 5-set week, in that order. So right now, we're on the 3rd wave, so that's 5 reps. We're on the 3rd week, so that's 5 sets. So we're going to do 5 by 5 today. Ooh, Hydrant already coming in with a pec bounce. All right. You got it? Now y'all, for those of you who like those channel points redeems, start tuning in regularly and you get watch streaks. Those watch streaks give you damn near 500 points. So you get 2 watch streaks. In other words, watch like 4, 5, 6 of my streams consecutively, you'll have enough for a pec bounce. Keep watching, you'll have quite a bit more. So understand now timing-wise. Yeah, the idea here is that you're going to accustom your body to a lot of volume the first 9 weeks. Then you move to your peak stuff. So, right, working 5s today. Next week, I think we start with 3s, right? Now, 3s is going to be, right, this is a lot of high explosiveness, really, really hard on the weight. The idea here being you're really trying to train yourself to get your maxes up. So we're doing this as percentages. The goal is to do 80% today. 80% of my desired squat max is 352 pounds, I think. So I shouldn't have any issue with that. But 5 sets of that will make it a bit tougher. So we're gonna go ahead and do another set, just warming up here. This is only 215. This doesn't count. This is, again, we're just warming up. When you do heavy weight on squats, you definitely want to warm up some. Oh. pretty decent. We'll go up weight. I'm gonna do just 1 or 2 more at 305. Not a full warm-up set, just really make sure I got a good handle on the weight. Do not want to injure myself. That would be really frustrating. So we'll put the clips on for this though. Two streaks, yeah, there you go. Very nice, Severus. Yeah, it's 350 for a 3-day streak. I think it's like 450 for a 5-day streak, and then 500 or something for a 7-day streak. I don't remember. I mean, I stream pretty darn regularly, so it's not hard to figure out when I stream. I mean, I have it listed. Week in, week out, again, it's pretty regular. Oh. Excuse me. So, start with rep 305 for 1 to kind of get the form locked in, make sure everything's feeling right. Then we'll get to our working weight because we've got 5 sets to do, so we're gonna be here a hot minute. I am gonna superset it with calves, mostly because I feel like it's the right way to do it. I'm probably gonna do some with a 10-foot plate under my heels, really work on that quad drive. I might do some flat, so that way I kind of have to work it both ways. We'll see. Really, it's a comfort thing. What do I feel is giving me the best workout without risking injury? Yeah, this is pretty easy. This is just 305. We're just gonna like 2-rep this. Just really make sure we're comfortable, we're in our zone. Lock out. Easy. All right, that feels pretty comfortable. So we're gonna move up. I think we'll start. We'll start with 355, see how it feels, and move either up or down from there. So, right, we're attempting 80% of our desired 1-rep max, right? I've not actually gotten a 440-pound squat, but we're going to act as though I have to try and push that, try and work to that level. So 4x5 at 80, or 5x5 at 80% is not the hardest thing in the world, but if it's a desired 80%, it's gonna be more in terms of what I've actually done, close to like 85. So that's the goal. So 80% of 440 is 352, I believe. So this is 355 is what's on the bar right now. So shouldn't have any issues doing this. What I am going to do is probably put you guys over on the side so that way you guys can monitor depth. I really do care a lot about squat depth here, keeping my form good, right? I should have no issues with this, but I would rather, if there is an issue, if there's something that's going wrong, I would rather have information about it from you guys on set 1, so then for the following 4 sets I can correct it. Hating 21, do you think Israel can bomb away the Hamas problem? That's going to take me a long time to answer. in depth, but no is the answer I would tell you. That it's more intractable than that. You got to remember, Hamas is funded by Iran, and Iran is not going away. Now, I will say, Hamas is fucking vile. Hamas chose to fuck around, and now they're finding out. But at the same time, you can't simply bomb the West Bank and Gaza until submission. Like that's all that's going to do is breed more terrorists. It's not going to work. You have to provide people with economic incentives to not blow shit up, right? People, in general, who have more to lose don't, right? Terrorism is usually an act of desperation. And when you've economically blockaded Gaza and Palestine, or West Bank, if you want to call it that, I don't really care, right? If you've blockaded them economically, they have no other options to start a career other than, well, okay, join Hamas. So that's not a good solution either. Do I know what the correct solution is there? No. Do I support the United States constantly dick riding Israel? No. Is Israel by far and away the better option from a moral standpoint? Yes. Look, it's real simple, okay? Israel doesn't force women to wear hijabs and doesn't stone gay people. You cannot morally equivocate these two. Hamas has philosophical beliefs that are trapped in the Middle Ages. Israel, for all of its faults, is a modern state and treats people with basic human rights for the most part. Not always, but there are levels to this. That doesn't mean I support Israel because the United States can stay out of this one, frankly. Israel is strong enough to support itself. Anyway, so I'm going to move it to the side. We're going to get started here. I'm going to start this one with no plates underneath my feet. We'll go from there. Yeah, I hear the light quality is not great. I don't really know how to fix that with the glare being what it is right now. I got to figure out how to solve that. Okay, so make sure Bluetooth is on. Excellent. Okay. So move you guys over. All right. You talking about John Calipari? I'm not gonna comment much. I don't know a ton about college basketball. Yeah, see, the lighting's a lot better from here, isn't it? Damn, I don't really have an outlet I can use. Actually, there is one. I could unplug my car and use that as the outlet. May just keep you guys over here long term. That may require a quick restructuring, but that's not a huge deal. We're gonna go ahead and grab these bad boys. We are gonna ring or pull after these squats. This is fairly heavy, so. Okay, I'm gonna psych up, I'm gonna hit this. Let's go. Strong leg pull. Please, y'all, depth check me. If I'm not hitting parallel, I need to know. You guys know the drill. Strong leg ball, come on. Let's go. Oh, what the hell? Come on. Fuck off. I don't care, ads. Here we go. felt pretty good. How's the depth? Nice. Well, that felt pretty good. You're strutting Tuesday night. Good to know. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go plug you guys in over here because I think that's gonna be better in the long run. So I need to unplug my car, move the power cables over here. So give me just a sec. We'll do that. That felt pretty good though. I think we'll rock with 355 to the next set too. It is also unseasonably warm in here. It's already in the 60s. Yesterday it hit 80 degrees here, which is unusual in January, to say the least. All right, so we're gonna unplug the car. Leave the plug there, because when we're done, I'm gonna plug it back in. Move the laptop plug, come on. There we go. Obviously, this ain't ideal, but better this than that glare. It's really bad this morning, so we'll keep you guys here. Looks like the angle could be slightly better. Let's move you guys back just a touch. Set the camera just the tiniest bit downward. That'll do. So, have you guys noticed any difference in sound from angle to angle? Because if you haven't, I'm going to leave the dual mic setup where it is, because I have no idea how to set it up over here to make it sound right. I think I'd rather, I'll sacrifice a little audio quality here for a little video quality. It's just not, you know, it is what it is. Can y'all hear me well? If not, let me know. Also, how was my depth? Just tell me, was I at parallel or not? I did 5 reps there. It should not be that hard to tell me. Good depth. Perfect, thank you. I think folks to the south take 80 over 30s. I agree. The difference is the 30s is supposed to be normal here in the mornings, right? January in my town, the average low in January is 36. The average high is 57. 80 over the average high, right? So 80 is 23 degrees above that, right? We get that in summertime, it's a crisis, because that would be 114. That's never happened before in my town. I think the hottest it's ever gotten here was 108, which is 15 above the average and 93 in the summers. So obviously, right, rain often brings down that summer average. So your average non-rainy day here is probably close to 96, but still, 80 in January is not normal. That's not right. I'm not complaining. I'd rather it be 23 above the norm than 23 below the norm, because that'd be a high of 34 and a low of 12, which is, that's going to cause a panic here. It's probably going to burst some pipes, all sorts of other negative effects, but 80 is not, that's not normal. That's not good. Right, if we're hitting 80 in January, what the fuck are we going to be dealing with in June? Yeah, we as great as 80-degree weather is, I'm not sure that feels like a bad omen to me. All right, second set, let's go. All right, please depth check me again. Again, we need to get to parallel. I'm not going ass to grass here. There's not really a need to do that. We're going for parallel squats. Just please depth check me. It really does matter. And the reason for this is, right, if I'm not hitting depth at 80%, how the fuck am I going to hit it at max? So I can't really explain just how much I appreciate you guys depth checking me and form checking me, especially on heavy squat. All right. Strong like bull. Here we go. Oh, for fuck's sake. Hell with it. I don't care. Oh, pop my sternum. That's right. Come on. That's pretty good. Part of me wants to try 375. I can see the bar bending. That's good. That piece of cheap Chinese steel. Omega Black, thank you very much for the resub. Ooh, positive for COVID. Tough break, man. Hope you feel better. How's the depth? It felt like I was getting deep enough, but I don't know that, and I need to hear it. What do you think, y'all? Should I try 375? I've never done 375 for a 5 rep, but I feel like I could. I mean, that was 355. It felt like it went up pretty easy. I wasn't really breathing hard until rep 4, rep 5. I think if I psych myself up, I've got 5 reps at 375. I think I'm gonna try it. I'm not gonna stay at 375, but one set, yeah, let's try it. Unless you guys tell me if I wasn't hitting parallel now. So I'm not hitting parallel at 370 or 355, I ain't gonna try 375. It sounded like my form was good. For 13 months for Omega Black, my main man from Vermont. Thank you. Over a year. That's incredible. Been here since the end of 22. At least in terms of subscribing. I know you've been on my channel for a lot longer than that. You and Dodge. I know you were one of the original people that came over from my channel from Dodge, so I'm cognizant and very appreciative of that. All right. What do y'all think? Y'all think I got this? I think I got this. But what I am going to do is take a leap. So I'd rather not piss myself getting a heavy squat. That seems like a good idea. I'm a little nervous, actually. I got that hit in the bottom of my stomach feeling that I usually get when I do super squats. I got this. I just gotta relax. I gotta hit it. Simple as. Last call. If I wasn't going deep enough on 355, please tell me now so I don't fuck up on 375. Okay? All right, I'm gonna psych up. We're gonna hit this. This is not gonna be easy. Should be good though. 215, 305, 355, 375. 10. Yeah, baby! Let's go! 375. Woo! Yes! Jesus Christ. Let's go! How about that, y'all? How'd that look? 375 pounds. Oh man. I'm gonna need a minute before the next set. That was wild. I'm gonna not do that for the next set. Mostly because I need these plates for heel elevation. I want to work on that a bit. Not too bad, huh? Not too shabby. I'm proud of that, man. That's not easy. How's the depth, y'all? I could use some feedback, chat. Please don't be completely silent.
Was I parallel? I mean, I guess I can go look after the workout is over, but yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Y'all ain't telling, so I won't ask. So next goal, 400 for 5? Hell no. I've already so my all-time max, I think I've done either 410 or 415. I don't remember which it was. That's okay, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I'll go look at the VOD. Up and out. So what I really want to try and do is up my 1 rep max. So I think it's either 410 or 415. 425, if I can't hit that, I'd be disappointed. I want 440. If I can get 440, I'd be pretty happy. 450 would be amazing. I don't think I'm getting that. But I definitely think 440 is in the cards. So the trouble is I'm running out of weight. So that's 355 on the bar. I got 225s, which should get me to 405. And then I got 15s, 10s, and 5s. I'm honestly also running out of bar space. The bar is only so wide, so that's, if I threw on 25s, it'd be 405. If I threw on 10s, that'd be 425. If I threw on 15s on that, that'd be 455. I'm definitely not going any heavier than that on a squat. That's too much for me. So that's fine. How you doing, Bowser? No, so the goal is to really get that 1 rep max up. Today we're doing 5 reps at roughly 80%. 375 is definitely above 80% for me. But it was good. It was good. 375 probably means a max of around 470. No, no. 465, 470. I can tell you already, no. I don't have that kind of strength. I wish I did. I don't. That was probably pretty close. I might have been able to eke out 380 at 5 reps, but that was pretty close. I was really pushing it for those last 2. The first 3 went pretty easy. They felt good. Reps 4 and 5 were definitely trickier. Definitely required a little bit more breathing. I think y'all saw that, right? You know, you see me breathing like a steam locomotive there, which is good. That's what you want. That's how you stimulate growth. It brings to force just how low Larry Allen's numbers were: 705 bench, 910 squat. Any of those guys. Now a lot of them were not natty. Just telling you that. A lot of guys putting up numbers that high. You know, obviously the genetic freaks in nature, but a lot of them are also not natty. Steroids do allow you to hit an entirely new level. I'm not discounting that because I don't care what you're putting into your body. If you can squat 900, you're damn near squatting half a ton at that point. Nobody hits those numbers without it being massively impressive. But I'll take 375 for 5 reps. I'm very happy with that. Okay. All right, I'm gonna focus up, hit me 5 on 355. What I'm hoping is I didn't gas myself too hard there, because I might have. Because I still got 2 sets of this left, and then we got wides, and then we got fronts. So I'm only on set 4 of 15 sets of squats today. Obviously I'm going very slowly. That's to be expected with this kind of weight, but whew, mama. All right, I'm gonna focus up at this. Ouch. I don't know if that one felt as good. God, the humidity in here is insane today. I'm sweating bullets. Nice. I gotta get the fan on. It's unreal. I'm already sweaty and slimy as hell. It's fucking January. Need fresh air. Generic for the NFL being the way. Oh yeah, because he was in the NFL in what, the 90s. Right. You're not gonna sit here and tell me Tony Mandarich was the only one juicing in that era. Tony Mandarich was just the only one to get caught, to the extent the NFL had to punish him. How hot is it down there? Right now it is. God, 68 degrees. About 100% humidity. Yeah, it's, now 70 isn't bad. And I guarantee you it's warmer in here than it is out there. This is probably about 70 in here. 70 isn't bad, but 70 in January is not right. Yeah, after being below freezing a few days ago. Here in South Carolina, it's very warm today. It's gonna be great for going and hiking, but definitely means I'm sweating a lot today. My body, and especially, right, you gotta remember too, being on the bulk cycle, I have a lot more body weight on me. You guys may have noticed the title is Crossing the Bulking Rubicon, and that's there for no accident. Today I weighed in at the highest weight I have had since college, 230 even. So, you know, that's part of the plan. I wanted to be 235 to 240 at about the end of February. So there's nothing wrong with being 230 now towards the end of January, right? I need to moderate a little bit. I don't want to go above 240. 235 is sort of my, okay, back off towards maintenance level. You know, that's sort of the goal. Really want to put on that weight, and then the cut's going to be brutal this summer. I'm going to probably cut from 235 to 240 all the way back down to 210. If I've done this properly, I'll have the leanness that I had at 205 in November, but I'll have more muscle on my body. That's the goal. Now dropping from 235 to 240 all the way back down to 210 is going to take months. And it's going to take a lot of discipline. it will not be fun. I'm going to be at 2,300 calories for fucking forever, and I'm going to feel miserable. I'll probably stick to 2,400 calories. I might go 2,500 to be honest. I'd rather have a slower cut. I will naturally, at 2,500 calories, I'm naturally going to lose a substantial amount of weight. You know, if I'm at 235 to 240. So I'll probably go 2,500 for the first 6 months. Maintenance break, you know, or 6 weeks, excuse me. You know, 6 weeks, hopefully that means I'll lose about 10 to 15 pounds in that time. So, you know, if I'm, let's say we're at 238, March 1st, you know, I maintain for 2 weeks. So mid to late March, I start the cut. So probably beginning of May, I'd want to be back around 225. That'd be, you know, upper 220s. That'd be the goal. You know, take a maintenance break there. So that's probably a solid week to 2 weeks, right? Then go again. So now you're looking at late June, want to be around 215, maybe 220. Upper 2 teens, take another maintenance break, you know, through to July, cut all the way down, you know, July, August to around 210, and then maintain there. That's going to be that's going to be fairly, right, that's the idealized timeline. You know, that's fairly aggressive. I reckon there will be setbacks, there always are. So, yeah, but me at 235 to 240 is linebacker body for sure. It's also chubby. You can see there's a lot less definition on my midsection than there was, you know, 2-3 months ago. But that's to be expected. That was entirely planned. Okay. God above. Yeah, my legs are dying right now. And I have one more set of that, so I have to man up and do it. All right, I'm gonna focus up. We're gonna hit our last set on squat here. I need to move these slightly back. I feel like I was not able to back up to the extent that felt comfortable. So we're gonna, there we go. Well, that fan is helping a ton actually. All that fresh, just getting oxygen moving in here. Oh yeah, Harbaugh. Wasn't Dat Wen around 240? Yeah, but Dat Wen was not 6'3", to the extent of my knowledge. I think Dat Wen was a little bit shorter. So right now, Dat Wen played on those really great A&M teams in the 90s. And back then, the game was a lot more ground-based. As a result, linebackers were a lot bigger then. Typically today, with the exception of your edge rushers, right, your outside linebackers who do mostly blitzing, you know, your mics, right? Your mic linebackers, or your inside linebackers in a 3-4 if you prefer inferior defenses. Yeah, I'm 4-3 gang, by the way. But your inside linebackers tend to be bigger, or they tended to be bigger back in the 90s because rushing games had more reliability, I guess. In those days, it was a lot more common to see, you know, a 60-40 or even greater rushing split to passing. The game has changed. Now it's very pass-heavy, and I do think there will come a point at which a team finds a golden running back and a golden offensive line and plays like it was 1973 and is ruthlessly effective and absolutely shakes up the college football landscape. I don't know who that team will be. I have my theories. Wisconsin. But I think it will happen at some point. I don't know what that point is, though. All right, I'm going to focus on this. Because the thing is, defensive linemen now are also getting a lot smaller. Now, you still got your big dudes, your nose tackles, but, you know, most defenses now in college have 2, maybe 3 guys that big on the D-line. College are in a 3-4 defense, so our inside linebackers are built like you. Interesting. Yeah, so, I mean, it does vary. And there were plenty of really great all-time 3-4 defenses. The Steel Curtain, Pittsburgh, in the 70s, that was a 3-4 defense. Right, and then you got the 46 from Buddy Ryan's era, the 1985 Chicago Bears. I'm not saying you can't have a good 3-4 defense. Plenty of the best defenses of all time were 3-4s. I'm a 4-3 man myself. Look, when you have 3 down defensive linemen and 5 offensive linemen, what you really have is a fucking mismatch on the run game. What you're going to do is that means by default, all that you have to do is make sure if your 3 O linemen matched up against the 3 D linemen can hold their blocks, you have 2 O linemen against 2 linebackers. That's a mismatch. If you run in a power I with a fullback, it's an even bigger mismatch. I mean, look, anybody who has tried to run an I formation halfback dive in Madden against the 3-4 understands how much easier that is to do versus a 4-3, as long as your center can hold off the nose tackle and your tackles or guards can hit the D tackles, right? If you can get those 3 blocks in the trenches, you're gonna get 4 or 5 yards from the line of scrimmage every single time. Unless they run a 3-4 pinch, in which case you run an off tackle, and if your tight end can give you a block, right, you're gonna have your offensive tackle hit the linebacker, you're gonna have your tight end hit the outside linebacker, and then that means you've got your fullback lined up against the safety or a cornerback, and that means trouble for the defensive back. That's not a win for the D back there. The D back's gonna get turned into a bowling pin. Because if you've got you're a 3-3-5 guy. No, the 3-3-5 is trash, dude. The 3-3-5 is fucking garbage. I hate the 3-3-5. Wisconsin's always the one's fans is choosing the most likely to go 1970s on college football. Yeah, because Wisconsin's historical, right? Look, there's a reason, right? And I know that he's technically talking about the Packers, but like, there's a reason Red Foreman from That 70s Show constantly was talking about, if executed properly, the power sweep is unstoppable. And you know what? He's correct. If you have good enough blocking and you have a halfway decent running back, you will churn out a shit ton of yards in the power sweep offense. Especially as you get to 3rd and 4th quarters. You went to NAI and then the linebackers and Georgia boys. I get you. No, the 3-3-5 is garbage. Even worse is the 3-2-6. The 3-2-6 is basically a feast for any offensive lineman. Because what is a 3-2-6, right? A 3-2-6 is you have 3 down linemen, that's it. Because you're running 3-2-6, you think it's going to be mostly a pass, a pass protection formation. So if you're running a 3-2-6, you have to have, by default there, you've got 2 linemen on 2 linebackers. And those linebackers are going to be small pass protecting backers. If you run that, dude, even if you're running a spread, like a 4 wide receivers, as long as the wide receivers are, not complete candy asses and know how to block, you're going to chew the defensive lineman up. I know this because I watched A&M run a 3-2-6 under Durkin, and it was fucking garbage. I think Auburn hired G.J. Durkin now, which is really stupid on Auburn's part. I don't understand what Auburn is doing. Then again, really, I don't even think Auburn fans understand what Auburn is doing. I don't even think Auburn's ADs understand what Auburn is doing. Auburn is a mystery shrouded in an enigma, wrapped in a question. Auburn, the inner machinations of Auburn's mind is an enigma. All right, enough talking. I gotta do another set. Sorry about the jawing, y'all. I need to focus and actually do this work. Come on. Let's go. Build the wall. Build the wall. Strong like bull. Build the wall. That felt good. I probably should have done that a little quicker. Going bad. Alright, that wasn't bad. Alright, we're gonna go down weight, we got wide squat. Yo, morning. Big gay Mikey, welcome on in. The Jackson Pollock creation. I don't know what that means. I'm not artsy. Remember, one of the worst men in human history was a vegetarian artist soy boy. Just saying. I'm just saying, hashtag I just want to grill, hashtag grilling is anti-fascist. Alright, so this is 215. What did I do last time on wide squats? 5x6 at, we did 4x6 at 250. I didn't write an RPE down. That was a mistake. Let's go with 255 and see how it feels. How'd that last set look? We good? I'm not getting much feedback from you guys today. That's okay. I'll check that one done here. Alright, so that's 215, 245, 255. I'll take 375 though. That's a good day. 4 sets of 5 at 355. 1 set of 5 at 375 is very much pretty good. We're pretty damn good there. Now I wish I'd done it a little bit faster, but sue me. We'll go a little bit faster on the variations of the bodybuilding. Plus I also was doing calves and raider pulls. So, you know, instead of, we've only done 5 out of our 15 sets of squats so far. We've actually done 13 of our total, shoot, I don't actually know how many off the top of my head sets. Something close to, if not at 30. All right. So I'm still gonna go about for this one. It's 255, so it's more than body weight. To me, I feel as though you're better off hitting you're hitting stuff above body weight with a belt. That's just my opinion, that's my preference. You don't have to use a belt if you don't want to. I just recommend it for really heavy stuff. Some people say it's a crutch. Yeah, I can see, you know, where one might come from to arrive at that conclusion. I think it's, I wouldn't call it a crutch, I would call it a safety precaution. So, you know, which one is a favorite offense? Pointed by, yeah, DKR. Well, right, the real genius behind the wishbone was Emory Bellard. Emory Bellard was the offensive coordinator at Texas for a long time. Then A&M poached him, and he was up and down. The 1975 Aggies were undefeated going into the Arkansas game, which was the second to last game of the year. Then Bubba Bean busted his ankle, and the starting quarterback went down and finished the season 9-2 with losses to Arkansas and Texas. What would have been had Bubba Bean not broken his ankle? Who knows, A&M could have been national champions in 1975, and the narrative on what A&M would look like as a historical legacy would have completely changed. But that's not how history ended up. It's one of my favorite alternate histories is what if Bubba Bean doesn't break his ankle in 1975? I think people really fail to understand what kind of cultural changes occurred for the Aggies in the 1970s in particular. So in the 1950s, A&M was still a small, all-white, all-male military prep college. That's what we were, right? We were basically the Texas equivalent to the Citadel or VMI. In the 60s, first off, because we could have integrated in 1956. Bear Bryant actually wanted to do that, and the A&M Board of Regents failed to listen to him, which was a really fucking stupid idea. Then when Mama Bear came calling, Alabama, Bear Bryant ditched us the same way he ditched Kentucky for us. Well, actually, it's not the same thing. He ditched Kentucky because Kentucky refused to even treat him remotely similar to the way they treated basketball, which is a legacy of problems Kentucky still deals with to this day at Mark Stoops. But when we talk about A&M in the 60s, A&M integrated, A&M allowed women, and A&M allowed non-regs. That's a huge difference. A&M's student population also started to rapidly climb in the 60s, but A&M was still the military prep school through the 60s. You have to remember, too, that the 1960s were dominated by the conversation around a very unpopular war for people at college age, the Vietnam War, right? So this was Texas's heyday. Texas won, I think, 66, 69, and 70. Might be 65. I don't remember. If there are any Longhorns fans in the audience, correct me on this one. While Texas was racking natties, A&M was sending people off to Vietnam. If you were a star college student, which would you choose? Pretty obvious. So 1974 comes around. We finally out of Vietnam. We finally pull, we've at this point fully integrated women into the Corps. Women are allowed to do everything in the Corps that men can do. It took several years. And because of the 1973 oil embargo, A&M now has a huge flood of oil money. It starts rapidly upgrading and expanding the size of the classroom. As a result, A&M becomes a much more favorable destination because you know you're not getting shipped off to Vietnam the second you graduate. So as a result of that, A&M's non-reg population goes up, A&M's core population goes up, A&M's women population goes up, and A&M's minority population goes up. As a result, A&M's able to attract better talent, and in 1975, undefeated until that would have been what, week 10? So I think people, right, and it's obviously cherry picking in A&M's favor to say, well, the rivalry from 1975 to 2011 was just about even with Texas. That is a statistically true fact, but that doesn't mean all the wins before 1975 were illegitimate. They were legitimate, and Texas dominated that rivalry until the 70s. The reason, though, that they did dominate is largely due to the fact that A&M had structural disadvantages relative to Texas until the Vietnam War ended. Anyway, here to hear about the massage. I'm going to do a set, and then we'll talk about that. Because, yeah, I was up in Greenville this week, and it was a lot of fun. So for this, we're going high bar, wide squat. Should still be hitting parallel. I'm going for sets of 6. All right, thanks for Rich Casting, Dalty Walty, welcome in. So, yummy yum, here about the massage. So, for a business trip going up to the subcontractor in Greenville, This week, I can't talk about who that was. Really what we were doing apart from, we had some safety related meetings to talk about risk mitigation and hazard prevention. I think that's generic enough to where I can get away with saying that, right? You know, I think frankly my employer would be happy to hear me say that because safety is the #1 priority at my job site. Whatever we do it safely. Safety is truly #1 in the nuclear industry in a way it isn't in any other industry. But we were up there and, you know, I went out to eat a bunch. Didn't really have other options. It was fun. I definitely ate more than my fair share. I didn't have a lot of opportunity for exercise outside of walking around Greenville, which is a very pretty city. Credit where it's due to the planning boards in the town of Greenville, the city of Greenville, I should say. They've done a really good job turning that Reedy River area into what used to be an industrial wasteland into a very pretty park area where you can go, you know, walk and run by the falls and along the Reedy River. I believe the Reedy branches into the Saluda, which branches into the Congaree, which branches out to Lake Santee and then to the ocean. So definitely a lot of respect for the city of Greenville, how they've made their town very desirable. And the truth is, I feel like Greenville is now what Raleigh was maybe 10 years ago. So Greenville is about halfway between Atlanta and Charlotte on the I-85 corridor. There's talk about bringing a faster rail line because NC DOT has put a lot of money into their rail program with Amtrak. That's why in North Carolina, you can take the train from Raleigh all the way to Charlotte. I think they're trying to get a train out to Asheville. But in South Carolina, there's very little in the way of Amtrak service. So what I think they want to do is get higher, you know, not high speed, but higher speed rail. You know, we're talking around maybe 100 miles an hour from Charlotte through Spartanburg, Greenville, I think Athens, Georgia, and then Atlanta. That would be, I think, a very useful connection. So for those of you who don't know, Greenville, South Carolina, right, so it's up in that kind of northwest foothills of the Appalachians, also known as the Piedmont area of the upstate in South Carolina. It's a good town. It's not cheap like it used to be, but it's much nicer than it used to be as well. It's gentrifying. Some people say that's bad, but compared to the urban blight of Augusta, I'd say Greenville's doing it better. What you know about North Carolina? It's the inferior Carolina. That's the first thing I know. Not sure really what you expected, but yeah, Furman is there. I think Greenville's a big. It's right. Greenville's not a huge city in and of itself, but that whole Greenville-Spartanburg metro area, you've got almost 1 million people, I think, right? Because you've got Greenville, Simpsonville, you've got Greer. You've got, you know, you head over to Anderson, Pickens County, which is where Clemson is. You've got Spartanburg. There's a lot of towns in that upstate chunk of South Carolina, and it's one of the fastest growing parts of the country. So I think it'd be a very good idea to work on rail there. Greenwood's not really that close. Greenwood's a hot minute. I know because I drove through there last night. The real place where I would be awesome, for sure. Bullet trains are expensive. No, I'm not saying a bullet train. I'm saying higher speed rail, like what's in the Northeast. You know, talk about 100-mile-an-hour Amtrak rail. Something that's still far faster than using the highway, and if you've driven Interstate 85 into Atlanta, you can immediately see the appeal of why that might be useful. So I'm a huge fan of increasing rail in the U.S., so I think we should do that. Anyway, let me go ahead and do another set. I'm stalling. And I'll talk about the massage after this one, I'm sorry. Here we go. Come on. superset that with pullovers. Nice. So, okay, I think this is Wednesday night. I decided it was finally time to treat myself a little bit. I decided to get myself a massage, full 60-minute long massage, and it was fantastic. Felt really nice, just absolutely lovely. Wasn't cheap, but I very, very seldom spoil myself. That's the first massage I've probably gotten in 4 or 5 years. It's just really nice. So, yeah, 4 years. You know, she was professional, went full body, felt really nice. I know a lot of you people are jealous of the masseuse. I feel like the masseuse, we got to talking a little bit before we started, the masseuse was not too unhappy to be working on me. But, you know, I was also real polite, as I, try to be polite, gregarious. You know, if the person performing the service is slightly happier, you know, that's what I'm looking for. You know, I think she's going to do a better job if you make sure the person, right, make sure you treat your service people well, right? I tipped them 25%. Did I need to do that? Fuck no. But, you know, I'm very much, I don't like the current modern day, what's called tipflation, where everything demands a tip, right? If you are just doing your job, if you're just, if you're a fast food worker, right, and you're just giving me a chicken sandwich from the tray behind you, no, I'm not tipping for that. That's stupid. If you're a waiter, you provide excellent service, yeah, I'll tip you. And I do tip generously, and I do feel strongly if you don't have the money to cover a tip, you shouldn't be going out in the first place. Deal from the position of strength. But in general, I think tipping culture has gotten out of hand here in the States. I do understand that, if restaurants were forced to pay out tips for their waiters, first off, waiters' incomes would go down, and restaurants would have to jack up prices, which obviously isn't good for anybody. So I'm not saying that's wrong, but what pisses me off is, like I've been asked to tip for fucking self-checkout before. Fuck you. I'm not doing that. No, that's insane. No, absolutely, you are within your right. Like, don't fucking tip your grocery store. That's the other thing. Your cashier ain't getting that. No, that's just, hey, do you want to give the grocery store extra profit? That's what that is. Absolutely not. So, there's my little tipping rant for you. Y'all know how I do. I go on rants. It's just who I am. All right, set number 3. All right.
Come on. Nice. 2 more of those. Feeling the effects of massage of your body slowly twisting and nodding itself back. No, not Costco, just self-checkout. It depends, it's store to store. But I've seen some stores that try to get you to tip on self-checkout, and I give you the big middle finger for that one. No, that's bullshit. And you know it's bullshit, so you're still doing it. Fuck that. I'd like to say I'm feeling the effects of the massage, but I think what's really more accurate is I got more rest than average before this workout. I think that probably played a bigger part than the massage. I'm not one of these people that thinks things like massage, you know, or therapy really does more than immediate short-term effects. Frankly, yeah, there's soreness. I feel better after hitting workouts than anything else. All right. We still got a long way to go, so let's keep it moving. Let's get some cashmere going. A little Led Zeppelin. You didn't just no, don't, okay, hold on. Right. North Carolina is an A-tier state. I love it. I just like South Carolina more. We have better barbecue. Beaches are about a draw even. Y'all have really great beaches and y'all have really overcrowded beaches. We have really great beaches and we have really overcrowded beaches. I think cost of living's better here. And the weather's a little bit better. I'm not a huge fan of snow unless I'm getting, you know, more than a foot of it. And North Carolina doesn't really get more than a foot of it. North Carolina often just gets slush, and who wants that? Nobody wants slush. The summers are pretty brutal down here, I will agree with that, but they're not exactly easy in North Carolina either. They're about the same. See, at South Carolina Beach, I've only been to Myrtle Beach. So if you're going to go to the Grand Strand, North Myrtle is better, but I will concede the best beach along the Grand Strand is it's just after you get across the North Carolina border on the North Carolina side called Sunset Beach. It's literally the first beach, the southernmost beach on the North Carolina coast. It borders North Myrtle in South Carolina, that's better. But the best beach in South Carolina, I am not going to say on stream because people from Ohio might be listening and I don't want them to know about it. Look, Ohioans, we love you, but no, that beach is for us. So, J-Guy, DM me and I'll tell you, but I'm not letting Ohioans figure that one out. I know you're not from Ohio, so I'll tell you, but nah. You understand. I'm sure you understand the need to keep 1 or 2 secret beaches hidden from Ohioans. The North Carolina mountains are beautiful. That's true. Y'all have better mountains than we do. But people think South Carolina has no mountains, and that's not true. The upstate's very pretty. All right, let's go. Fourth set. Deeper, come on. That's better. One more. I think think that was 5. I think I lost count. Six. I think income taxes are the same between the Carolinas, but South Carolina definitely wins on income, or cost of living. Like, Raleigh's expensive now. Chapel Hill, Durham's expensive. I would also say South Carolina has better football. Between Clemson, South Carolina, and Coastal, I think we do better than the NC states. And nobody gives a fuck about the Panthers anyway, so, you know. All right, one more set of wides, and then we got 5 sets of front squat. That's gonna be miserable. But yeah, roommates are the way to go. I've got 4, hell yeah. No idea how the roommate search is going. I know she's applying to a bunch of shit. I'm just hoping something calls. She's got the skills. She's just gonna have to be flexible, I think, for whatever comes. Nothing but mountains, one big valley surrounding one big lake. Vermont is very pretty, but I've never been. I'd like to go. Not in January, but I'd like to go. We all have our own space, read my comment. I know what you'd be doing with those secret beaches. Nah, it ain't that kind of secret beach. It's not a gay beach. That doesn't, remember, South Carolina is Bible Belt as fuck. That ain't a thing here. Hey, VegCom, good to see you. Astonishing friends and not yet friend. Good to see you, VegCom. No, I will agree. South Carolina basketball is inferior to North Carolina basketball. Except for women's, South Carolina women's basketball clears everybody. It's crazy how good the Lady Gamecocks are. I feel like there's a trans joke to be made in there somewhere about Lady Cox, but I'm not gonna make it. One of y'all find a funny way to do that. South Carolina roads are ass, I'll agree with that. Well, okay, some of them are ass, some of them are good. But NC Dot on I-40, okay. I'm gonna go on my I-40 rant. What in the fuck are you doing, North Carolina? How in the fuck are you going to block one of the biggest arteries in the country to get over the Appalachian Mountains from Asheville to... Dude, I don't give a shit. Free speech is allowed on this channel. I don't give a fuck. If people are overly sensitive, they can find other channels. No, but Interstate 40. What are you doing, NC Dot? I've tried going through to Knoxville on I-40. It's down to 1 lane. It's been down to 1 lane for years. What on earth are you doing? That is one of the biggest thoroughfares through the Appalachians. You can't be putting it down to 1 lane, because then what's going to happen is, right, because you've got construction, trucks are going to slow down to 20 and you have a multi-mile backup. Look, I expect Virginia to be stupid enough to do that, but North Carolina, I expect better. And the second you cross into Tennessee, it's perfect. It's good. It's nice. So, there you go. That's my big criticism. There is no highway in South Carolina. 126 sucks ass as you go to Columbia. I'll admit that. But there is no highway I have seen in this part of the country worse than I-40 going west into Tennessee. Did it just to bother you? Maybe. Man, that road is hot street trash. Fuck NC Dot. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Like, dude, I have made
quicker progress on those back roads that look like something out of a fucking video game racetrack, which are honestly fun as hell to go hooning on between North Carolina and Tennessee. I refuse to take Interstate 40 west. I'm not gonna do it. Fuck that road, and fuck NC DOT for making it this bad. Dude, well, I went up, okay, I haven't been up recently, but I went up in 2021, blocked down to 1 lane. Went up in 2022, blocked down to 1 lane. Went up in 2023, blocked down to 1 lane. So hopefully they fucking fixed it by now, but for the fact, again, that is a massive artery between two very big rising economic powerhouses in the Union, NC and Tennessee, right? Just insane. You cannot take that road down to 1 lane. It's just, you can't fucking do it. Do it the way the Japanese do it. Have the construction workers work at night. I don't give a fuck. But you can't be, no.
At least the view is nice while you're bumper to bumper.
That is true. It's very pretty. But look, I'd rather, if I wanted, fuck Interstate 40 going west. No, I've gone on I-40 going east from Knoxville, no problem, until you hit the North Carolina border. North Carolina needs to fix that shit like 2 years ago, and maybe it has. Maybe here in 2024 they finally got it done, but that road is terrible. Only highway I've been on that is routinely shittier is I-35 in Texas, between Waco and Austin, which are 2 towns I hate going through anyway. Close for bridge work, a bridge is being fixed. Look, you cannot put it down to 1 lane for years on end. That's just insanity. All right, let's go. Last set on wide squats, 255. And again, I don't mean to hate on North Carolina, because I really like North Carolina. If I was going to pick top 10 states in the Union, North Carolina, 100% on that list. Might even crack top 5. I like North Carolina more than Georgia. Really, apart from South Carolina, I don't think there's a state in the Deep South I like more than North Carolina, come to think of it. I really do like North Carolina. I just think South Carolina is slightly better. Mostly because of the barbecue. And that one, I'm pretty sure I have triggered someone in this chat. We're going to get barbecue wars in here, bitches. Let's go. Mustard base. If you must cook with an inferior meat like pork, mustard based is the way to go. The men are attractive here. Okay, I will give plus points on the rainbow scale to North Carolina, because yeah, South Carolina, the non-straight scene is fucking trash. I will agree with that. All right, here we go. Last set. Come on, deeper. One more. There we go. Five more sets. Christ. Now we go to front. This is going to crush my quadriceps. All right. Lots of athletes and active people. Barbecue wars are the neutral judge. No, you're a Yankee. Why on earth would we trust a Yankee to do that? Oh. The only person I will trust to test between there's three types of barbecue. North Carolina itself has 2. You have the coast of the eastern North Carolina variety, which you can also find in the Strand in South Carolina, and the western, which you can also find in the upstate in South Carolina. Then you have the mustard base, which is the South Carolina variety, which you find in the majority of SC. But no, the only people I will trust to make a judgment on Carolina-style barbecue are people from Kansas City or Texas. Yeah, Louisiana too. I'll let the Cajuns know how to do flavor, so I'll let them decide too. I was burned out for my cut. Yeah, I look like crap, but I feel great. This is the bulk. All right, let's go. Let's pick it up. Let's pick it up. Now, if I were to put top 10 states, thinking off the top of my head, Texas obviously makes us. Nope. Memphis barbecue is too close to North Carolina barbecue for that to be a fair comparison. So they're going to say the western chunk of North Carolina is the best barbecue by default because it's very close to Memphis style. Honestly, you know what? Kansas City shouldn't be sitting in this one either. Really, you got to go with Texas because Texas barbecues with a different meat and very little, if any, sauce. That's what you want as a neutral adjudicator. We gotta have a Texan do it. But wait a minute, I'm originally from Texas, so I can judge and therefore South Carolina. Done. Aha, I outfoxed y'all on that one. No, real talk. Definitely nobody from Mississippi, because they put Dr. Pepper in their barbecue, that's fucked up. Definitely nobody from Alabama, because they put mayo in their barbecue, that's even more fucked up. No, if you're from Louisiana or Texas, I will listen to your opinion on this. Otherwise, nah, ain't it. 75% French Canadian, forefather of Acadian. Yes, the problem is though, that doesn't. There was an evolutionary divergence there. As great as poutine is, look, you can't sit here and tell me that people in Vermont understand flavor the same way people in Louisiana do. Louisiana has the best food, you could argue the best food in the world, not just the country. I know it sounds like I'm dick riding Louisiana here, but the only reason Louisiana isn't an F-tier state, even though it's the most corrupt in the Union, and a good half of it is sinking into the Gulf, the only reason it's not an F-tier state is the food. Also, fuck LSU. I get that you're French Canadian, and that's great, but look, the Cajuns had to marinate. Right, so why is Cajun food so much different and so much better in Louisiana than it is in Quebec or in Vermont, right? It's because they came down to Louisiana, blended with the natives there, blended with the Creoles there, and blended, in those days, with the slaves there, imported often from either Africa or the Caribbean. That's why Louisiana is so unique. It's a blend of many things. It's a rainy morning here in New Jersey. It is warm here. It's almost too warm for January. All right, come on, let's hit front squats. One down, 4 to go. First rep wasn't quite parallel. Yeah. I need to go a bit deeper on that first rep. I always, on front squats, because it's a slightly different mechanic, I always tend to ease into it on the first rep. But that's a good call. I really shouldn't. It's supposed to be between RPE 6 and RPE 9. This is definitely pushing RPE 9. I don't want to go down in weight. I think I'm going to push on with this, see if I can get at least 3 or 4 sets at 225. Grandmother being best friend with the family was in a Wildlight gumbo. Nice. Yeah, I have no problem with Vermonters, but do not pretend for a second like you are the culinary masters of flavor that people from Louisiana are. Poutine is great. Maple syrup is, not my thing. I get that y'all have a proud culinary tradition there, but and I know Vermont's very good with cheese and cider too, but it's not the same thing as Cajun. Push up. Oh, you son of a bitch. All right. Remind me, I will redeem that after the workout here. I need to conserve my energy for these last sets. Bye for breakfast. Again, I'm not saying, that Vermonters don't know what flavor is, but in terms of an independent adjudicator for which Carolina style of barbecue is better, I think only Texas and Louisiana is qualified. If you're from above the Mason-Dixon, you don't know how to barbecue anyway. If you're from Maryland, which is technically below the Mason-Dixon, you think barbecue is a roast beef sandwich, which is just wrong. Maryland honestly shouldn't exist. Just give a chunk, make DC a state, expand the size of DC, and give, I don't know, turn Baltimore into like, I don't know, give the rest of Delmarva to Delaware, and give the Panhandle to West Virginia, and I don't know, give Baltimore to whoever the fuck wants it. Pennsylvania, I guess. You couldn't do any worse with it. I graduated high school from Maryland, so I know what I'm talking about here. Maryland is an ass-tier state. Just finishing my push-ups myself. I will do those push-ups, but I'm not doing those until I'm finished this workout. That's a bit much. All right. How you doing, Lesbian Hot Sauce? I saw you and your homie VegCom in here. VegCom was here a little while ago. I don't know if they're still here, but always cool to see y'all in chat. I'll start giving out some shout outs in a minute. I'll be doing another set. Come on. Stop, come on. Strong like bull. Nice. This is 100 kilos, by the way, 225. $12-kilogram dumbbells, let's go. You got that. Let me give you a shout out. I'll go give homie Lesbian Hot Sauce a follow. She's finally starting to learn about nuclear power. Something I wish more leftist streamers would do. Take an honest look at it. So I respect it a lot, actually. I think you're an intelligent person. And I think nuclear in particular has badly needed more allies on the political left for a very long time. When you look at statistics on who favors nuclear, to this day, typically Republicans favor nuclear energy a little bit more, even though nuclear energy, for all of its issues, is far better an option than coal or natural gas. I'm very much a big believer that climate change is a huge issue and we need to solve it, but I'm also a realist. to run heavy industry, you need baseload power. And for baseload power, you're gonna want nuclear.
Dude, also, great environmental news. Some hydrological dams on the Klamath River in Oregon and Northern California finally got destroyed, which sounds like bad news, but it's really good news because the local salmon run population will recover there, which allows the American Indian tribes of the local area to return to their traditional way of life. To me, I think that's worth it. And again, it's proof too that every single form of power generation has its problems, hydro included. Hydro is carbon-free electricity, but those dams screw up wildlife. Now granted, in a place like Lake Mead, oh, you're fine because there was no wildlife there to begin with, it's a fucking desert. But in a place like the Klamath River, that's a very, very sensitive and diverse ecological zone. You gotta treat it with respect.
In Memphis, North Carolina, Texas barbecue, One Tree, South Carolina. I highly recommend it. Fishing is fucking amazing because we love humans, but stress safety protocols.
But I promise you again, look, even since the days of Hyman Rickover here in the United States, really the only serious nuclear accident we ever had was the SL-1. And SL-1, the type of reactor used for SL-1 got immediately scuttled. In fact, it's illegal to build an SL-1 style reactor here. It was an experimental reactor. It may have been sabotaged. It was out in the Idaho desert where it couldn't hurt anybody. So, people want to say, oh, well, what about 3 Mile Island? 3 Mile Island killed nobody. The other 3 reactors at the plant continued operating until 2019. In fact, 3 Mile Island is a poster child of why nuclear power is a good idea, if anything. Even in the worst possible case scenario, nobody died, and the average radiation dose for workers at the plant was less than 1 flight from New York to Los Angeles.
What, for the SL1 disaster?
I can get that for you. I actually did a couple presentations about it for my job because, right, we're a huge fans of safety in the nuclear industry, so we constantly do presentations about what went wrong and why it went wrong in the few American incidents we have to work with. Sometimes we'll cover Chernobyl, but even nuclear regulators who are fucking insane half the time, if you ask me, acknowledge that Chernobyl can't happen here. It's not physically possible. The laws of physics prevent that from happening with a reactor with a negative void coefficient. And even if it did happen, which it can't, US nuclear reactors are legislated and have been legislated since the 50s to have containment buildings, which didn't happen in the USSR, and so on and so forth. All right. Let's go for another set.
Sorry for the hydronative stuff. No, that's terrific news. Again, that dam got destroyed. They finally collapsed that dam. So,
yeah, Northern California and Southern Oregon aren't going to have as much hydroelectric power to tap, but the local salmon runs will be restored, and the native populations in those areas will be able to live the life they used to live before the dam was built in the 30s. I would call that good news. No, the Klamath River doesn't need to be dammed. And again, if you feel really strongly about carbon-free electricity, first off, if you're in California, solar really does make sense there. It's extremely sunny, but all you need to do is have a couple nuclear plants for baseload power. So, maybe don't shut down Diablo Canyon. Now, California's got its head run up its ass, so I don't expect California to do the right thing. Again, as a Texan, yeah, crapping on California is a state sport. They bring it on themselves. Look, you're getting your ass handed to you by fucking Brightline in Florida, of all places, a state that is hostile to rail. What are you doing, California? Stop masturbating yourself with fucking environmental reviews and just build the goddamn railroad. It's not hard. But, hey, look, California voters keep electing clowns into Sacramento. They're going to get what they deserve.
All the California Republican Party would have to do is be slightly less crazy than they are, and they'd win. All right, here we go. Okay. My knees are starting to hurt. It's a lot of high volume. Look at a 215. Yeah. No, well that's the thing, right? But here's the other ugly reality, okay? And this is one where I'll actually listen to anti-nuclear critics, because it is a fair one. In the past, in the American Southwest, states of Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona are where a large chunk of the United States' uranium supplies are. And we can either mine it ourselves or import it from Russia, which is a bad idea for obvious reasons. So you got to do that. Unfortunately, all the areas where those uranium mines are Native American land. So you're gonna have to work with that. And yeah, uranium mining poses some risks. Nowhere near as much as coal mining, but it does pose some risks. Now, the good news is, in this country, we have pretty high safety standards. The bad news is, in the 50s and 60s, we didn't. And so, yeah, there are some uranium mining accidents in the old days. Now, I would not blame the nuclear industry for that. I would blame insufficient environmental standards in the 50s and 60s on that. Now, we have since gone too far the other way. Environmental standards and regulations are so much in the United States and in Canada too, that mining companies cannot compete here versus other nations. And I don't care, you gotta pick the least bad option, right? Yes, uranium mining is not good for the environment, but, right, one uranium mine can put out the energy equivalent of hundreds, if not thousands of coal mines. So, yeah, it's not great, but compare it to the other options and it's not so bad. Everything has a cost, everything. There is no perfect option, there is no silver bullet. And the sooner we stop having magical thinking, the sooner we can get a good answer. Next is doing PhD of wind turbines on Sami people north because it fucked up reindeer migration pathways. Same thing with birds and solar as well. One of the biggest bird killers now are these massive solar farms in California. How does a big solar farm tower work? Instead of having panels out in a field, you have a shit ton of mirrors that focus solar energy all to a focal point at the top of a tower, which heats up water to turn a turbine to make electricity. Well, if a bird flies in that freaking pathway, it's going to get fried. There is no wind. There is no perfect source. There is no silver bullet. And the second we can get people, frankly, on the left and the right to understand that, the sooner we will reach a better way of operating, a better conclusion, a better solution to the problem. That's how things are in real life. The people who have these idealistic solutions are kidding themselves. Life just doesn't work like that. You have to make compromises. You have to figure out the best option, all things considered. God, I got 2 more sets of this, and then I've somehow got to pull off 5 sets of lunges. My knees are not going to be happy with me by the end of the day. Am I going below parallel on these? It feels like I'm almost going too low. If I'm not, let me know, but it feels like I'm going really long range of motion here. Perhaps almost too long. And that may be causing some of the knee pain. So I felt it a lot more on that set than I did on the previous 2. Meanwhile, supply of uranium. Well, okay, yes. So the Canadians have been blessed with basically every great natural resource known to man. But if you think American mining regulations are strict, Jesus Christ, Canada. Exporting anything, be it oil, uranium, coal, gas, whatever. Resource extraction in Canada the regulatory burden is fucking mental. It's so bad that Canada has basically cucked itself. It's uncompetitive with anybody else, even the United States. And it's not like we have loose mining regulations, because we don't. Unless you're talking coal in West Virginia, which of course, that's just political corruption right there. You can delay the lunges with the push-ups. I will do that. Is uranium-235? Okay, so mining uranium by mass. Most uranium isotopes are U-238, and U-235 is very rare naturally occurring. Now, what you have to do is refine the uranium. Refining uranium is pretty easy, actually. All things considered, it's not a huge deal, but mining the raw yellow cake, go look at the news. Go look at what uranium prices have done in the last month, or even the last year. Mostly because of the Russia-Ukraine war, they've skyrocketed, because as it turns out, we were buying a shit ton of Russian uranium because American mining companies cannot compete with lax Russian environmental regulations. It's not rocket science, right? If you want affordable nuclear power, you do have to have a steady supply of uranium. And if the American companies can't provide it, the Russian companies will. Do you want your money going to a bloodthirsty dictator, or do you want to loosen environmental regulations in the United States? Those are your two options. Or you can go, I guess it doesn't have to be the Russian bloodthirsty dictator. It could be some tin pot African dictator as well, if you want to get it from Niger like the French do, which is also a problematic option for reasons I needn't explain. All right, come on. Strong like bull. 2 more sets left. Strong like bull, come on. 2, 3, 1 more set of pullovers. I'm dying here. This is tough. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll do the push-ups after this last set of fronts. Thank you for being patient, Yummy. 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Come on! Oh my god. Oh, that kills my chest, my rib cage. Stretches the shit out of it. Okay, so we've got 15, 21, 20. So we've got 25 sets done. So we got 5 sets of lunges after this, then we're through. So most uranium naturally occurring on Earth is U-238, not 235. U-235 is what's called fissionable uranium. So, right, let me explain this, okay? And this is all public information. You can find it on a Wikipedia page, right? I'm not going to state the exact percentages, but you can figure it out, okay?
Usually, most nuclear power plants, the amount of U-235 to U-238 is about 5 to 10% tops. In the wild, it's 1 to 2%. Right? Mining raw yellowcake, 1 to 2% will be U-235, 98-ish% will be U-238, and there'll be a couple other isotopes in there of scant percentages. The higher you refine it, the more likely you are to make weapons material. Highly refined uranium is what Iran is trying to do. You hear all this talk about Iran trying to build a nuke. What happens is that Iran keeps trying to build uranium refining facilities, and we keep finding those uranium refining facilities. In violation of previous and current nuclear deals we've had with Iran, the Ayatollah is a fucking tyrant and really that entire country. Now, we fucked them over by instilling the Shah in 1953. That's on us and the British. The British, BP was the biggest reason we did that. And the Iranian Revolution of 1978 and 1979 is blowback from instilling a coup. That was, we played a stupid game and won a very stupid prize. However, it does not justify the horrendous acts of funding global terror groups that Iran does. Iran is the biggest funder of Hamas in the West Bank and in Palestine, of Hezbollah in Lebanon, and of the Houthis in Yemen, who are attacking, shipping containers, right? You don't want, that is one of the biggest commerce routes in the world, through the Suez Canal and through the Red Sea. And as much as I don't like to give the Saudis credit, the Saudis called it correctly regarding how big a threat the Houthis were. Frankly, we should have backed the Saudis to go in there and kick their ass. I don't have much love for Mohammed bin Salman, but the Saudis 100% were correct about analyzing the threat that the Houthis were, and we just ignored them.
Bro, looking so good. Looking big in your bulking face. Thank you, Leviathan. Northern Saskatchewan near Lake Athabasca.
So that's the other issue, right? A lot of the mining areas in northern Saskatchewan have gotten hollowed out, right? So why is that? Well, again, it's uncompetitive to mine in Canada because of the environmental regulations. And look, okay, as much as people want to demonize mining companies, and rightfully so, they fucked up a lot in the past. At the same time, most people in the mining industry are not looking to actively fuck up the environment. They're looking to extract ore to sell for profit. You should have audits, right? But you don't need to have the standards be quite as tight as they currently are.
Saudis were right, but went about it in the worst way possible. In the same way that you could argue the Israelis are right about Hamas, but are not going about it in the correct way.
I can't judge other countries for operating in those environments because let's look at how we did it. Iraq, 2003. We didn't do very well. Afghanistan, 2001 to 2021. We didn't do very well. So, on one hand, yeah, you can judge the Saudis and even the Israelis for handling terrorist groups in their backyard. You gotta remember, right? The Houthis in Yemen border Saudi Arabia. But at the same time, if you're an American, look, our way of doing things in Iraq and Afghanistan failed badly. So maybe we should just step back and let the Saudis and the Israelis handle things and let the international community judge it. For once, let's not be the people everybody hates for getting involved. Let's let people complain, America, get involved. And we'll just say, nah, we're good. It's the same thing with fucking Pakistan right now. Pakistan is asking us for help because of all the Taliban took over Afghanistan. Remember, Pakistan played stupid games and won stupid prizes, funded the Taliban for 20 years. Now the Taliban are coming over and causing problems in Pakistan to try and set up an Islamic State there as well. And now Islamabad is crying out to the United States, America, come back and help, we're begging you. Fuck off. You funded these assholes, you played a stupid game, now you've won the stupid prize. Frankly, the biggest socio-political mistake we made in the 20th century was supporting Pakistan at any point over India.
Pakistan has shown itself to be one of, if not the most untrustworthy nation in the world when it comes to diplomatic promises. I really, again, it's so fucking funny. It's so fucking funny to me. We leave and everybody cries out for help. America, come help. And then we go and help, and then they say, America, fuck off. We can't win with anybody. So goddamn tired of it, man. And the thing is, right, when we do leave, when we do back out, you know what happens? We get the 30s. You know who rose to power in the 30s. How are we all doing today? Marajas, I'm doing great. We're hitting squats. My knees are starting to complain, so I've gone slightly down weight to 215 for the final set of fronts. I need to do these and then fucking hit lunges. I'm stalling, but sue me. I've got nothing to do today, so nobody's gonna die because I'm going slow. It's so fucking funny to me. Everybody loves to hate the Americans for doing things until we leave, and then everybody wants the Americans to come back. We can't fucking win. Ugh. It's the same thing with the goddamn Europeans, too. The Europeans say, oh, America, stop being world policemen, stop being world policemen. Then the Europeans come on their fucking knees and beg us to support Ukraine. Well, what do you want us to do here? Right? Either accept our help and be thankful for it, or fuck off. So I'm so goddamn tired of people making America out to be the bad guy no matter what we do. I'm honestly, you know what it is? It's Alabama syndrome. America's been at the fucking top for so fucking long that everybody hates on us. Now, are there things we have done wrong? Oh, absolutely. Our policy in particular towards Latin America has been garbo, and we should have adjusted, been far better neighbors in the Western Hemisphere for far longer. Why we are still blockading and embargoing Cuba is beyond me. They haven't been a threat since 1991, so we shouldn't be doing that. We should look for rapprochement with Cuba. Venezuela is a fucking dumpster fire, but we need to be better neighbors in the Western Hemisphere. But the Middle East, Europe, Asia, no, that's y'all's problem. We should be fucking done in that part of the world. Because every time we go in, everybody complains about the way we do things. So you keep protecting our interests and let them deal with it? Exactly. So I'm cool with us going in there and blowing up Houthi shit because international shipping is in the American interest. That helps the world economy, it helps the American economy. Hell, even the Chinese are on board with our approach on that one. Fucking like Bahrain, obviously Israel, obviously the UK, the French. We're all kind of saying, no, fuck you, this is international commerce, you're causing a major threat to the economy here. But, you mentioned the hell we caused in Chile and Argentina in the 70s. Okay, Chile, yeah. Booting out Salvador Allende for Pinochet was probably not cool, but Argentina brought a lot of their shit on themselves. Peronism was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And the Argentines have finally wised up and picked Milei. Now, is Milei perfect? No. But literally anything would be better than Peronism at this point. You cannot, right? If you vote for Peronism in Argentina at this point, it's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Argentina needs to purge itself of Peronism. Peronism doesn't fucking work. It's the biggest reason Argentina went from being one of the most developed nations in 1900 to a middle-of-the-road nation in 2000 and falling fast. Are things going to get worse before they get better? Yes, and Milei said that because he was correct. It was going to happen. All the bills from the excessive spending of the Peronist governments are coming due. And you gotta rip the Band-Aid off, which is what Milei is trying to do. Do I think his fucking minarchist, libertarian pipe dream is a good one? Not really, but embracing the free market, staying the fuck away from BRICS, it's a good thing. If I were Biden right now, I would be looking to help the Argentina as much as I could under Milei, because that could turn them, right, from a non-aligned third world, or not third world, but non-aligned nation into a powerful U.S. ally in South America, in the same way that, to an extent, the Chileans are, right? Argentina could be a very good friend of the United States, and I think we should be looking to help them. Are they going to need restructuring in the way of loans? Yeah. But look, the amount of money we're giving to fucking Ukraine right now, come on. We can help out Argentina and get a much better ally from it. Anyway. And here's how I know, by the way, how stupid an idea Peronism is. What Peronism did was use the Falklands, or the Malvinas, if you're Argentinian, as a jangling key. It's like jangling keys beneath, in front of an infant's face to rile up people in Argentina to ignore how badly they were mismanaging the economy. And then, of course, the UK bitch slapped them in 1982. I'm not going to say whose islands those should be, but 100% the reason Argentina has turned that into a big issue is because the successive Argentine governments have refused to actually take responsibility for their poor economic policy. All right, let's go. Last set. Three more. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I'm fucking shot. That was getting grindy. Oh, ouch. That was 4 legitimate reps. A bounce off the bottom and one that wasn't deep enough. Alright, what did we do lunge at last time? 155, that sounds good. Yeah, the correct answer is you want a leader that believes in a free democratic state. Loose controls on capital markets. And a pro-US backing. There's no reason Argentina can't become the next South Korea in terms of being a valuable ally. We just have to recognize this opportunity, not let it slip out of our hands. All right, so I'm gonna take our shoes off for this one. This is lunges. Do you have any timetables yet between your decisions between Hawaii and Puget Sound? No. We'll see. When it comes, it comes. I would like to think that the clearance process doesn't take too much longer, and we're looking at an exit point somewhere in April or May, but I don't know that. It's the government. I have no idea how. Well, they could take it. I could get rung up today from Puget or Pearl and say, yo, we're on to the next step. I haven't heard really anything from either of them in multiple weeks now, so I just don't know. I just don't know. We'll see. I don't think, I don't think I should have any issues, but it's really a timing question. Oh, yeah, push-ups. I will do push-ups. Look, Argentina has the natural resources and educated population to thrive. Absolutely. So, hang on. I need to sweep up in here. Where's my... This is pissing me off. Stand by. There we go. Too much gravel from parking my car here. It's gonna be unpleasant to lunge on, so we're just gonna sweep that off real quick. There we go. All right, that's better. So, where was I at? taking some time to travel across the states, you still plan on doing that? Yes. Unless, you know, something, hopefully, nothing happens that would prevent me from doing so. If it does, you know, I'll have to go a lot quicker. I really don't want to do that. Yeah, I'd like to travel across the state, spend some time with my mom up in Washington State. You know, there's no way of knowing, you know, what the time frame is going to look like, right? I don't want to leave here before March 1st because my 401k doesn't vest until then. So, you know, I'm not going anywhere in February. And I definitely think at this point, right, it's going to take at least a month for me. Usually, it's going to, I would imagine, given that, you know, both of these are, one's on the West Coast and one's in the middle of the Pacific, both opportunities are going to give me time to move out there, probably at least a month. We're already at the end of January, so I can't imagine, you know, that they're going to tell me, hey, get out there now. But we'll see. I think I'm going to do some push-ups and I'll explain what I'm going to do. Oh, my spine just popped. 4, 30. That might have been 32. I don't know. I don't care. I'm a bit busy. Counting is hard. All right, so let's go for 7-5 lunges here. Need some fresh air. All right, cool. I think I gave you a shout out already, so I'm not going to do it again. But thanks for always coming in. Hot sauce, always good to see you. Criminal, good to see you. Welcome on in too. All right, let's finish. We got 5 fucking sets of lunges left. That's gonna be miserable. Yo, but again, Mikey, if you can successfully redeem the push-ups and everything else, please do that. I think you can do that. There we go. Fuck. I kept the 2 plates here that are in the way. I didn't do that correctly. I need to move those. There we go. That's over. Six. Whoa. Balance. I think I'm really going to do this up there. Got 4 more sets. I feel like I'm stronger on reverse lunges. Anybody else feel that way? Maybe not. All right, come on.
6.
Two sets down, 3 to go. Yeah, I did my 30 push-ups. My brain is the most acute. Thank you. That's all right. My brain's not operating full strength now either. All right. I'll take a leap. We'll hit the third set. God, it is a steam bath out here. Damn near 100% humidity. Let's see. It is 72 degrees. Damn near 100% humidity though. Like, I'm sweating. Bar is sticky. Quit complaining, I'll just do it. You shouldn't rely on pick your brain and feel smart. Get a hug. Give you the best hugs. I do get big, strong ball hugs. Whereabouts are you, criminal? Yeah, it's this is unusual even for South Carolina. It should not be this warm in January. Right, the average high here this time of year is about 60. The low did not hit 60 this morning. It was above it. I mean, it's great in the sense I don't have to worry about heating my house, but definitely has its downsides too. All right, third set. 45 is feeling balmy now. 45 isn't, given where you're at, 45 is almost, 45 in January where you are is as strange as 75 here. 75 is shirtless weather for me. Well, it's shirtless in here. Would be shirtless outside, but you know, the ever-present South Carolina mosquito population ensures that's a bad idea. All right, set number 3. Strong like ball. Come on. Five. 6. 7. 8. Come on. 9. 10. 3 down. Oh, that would have been bad. 3 down, 2 to go. thing is, I'm bulking right now. I'm radiating heat. This is not easy for me. I'm really struggling to keep myself cool, as I'm used to colder weather now. Two more sets. We got abs. We'll talk about stocks, everything else. Two more fucking sets. We got to install microwave ovens, custom kitchen deliveries to move these refrigerators, to move these TVs. Little dire straits. Money for nothing. Space heater. I gifted my roommate a space heater while the furnace was busted, and she's definitely liked it, to the detriment of our electric bill, but, you know, I originally did that because our furnace was busted, but I fixed the furnace. It's reliably pumping out 64, but she'll turn it on all night, keep her room nice and toasty, which, you know, I understand it, but it's definitely had an effect on the electric bill. I'm not trying to out you here, roomie, but like, I mean, you knew that was the case. And yeah, space heater puts out a ton of heat, but like, goddamn. All right, oh God. This bar's so slippery. It's all sweat covered. Come on, two more sets. We got to install microwave ovens. Come on. Whoa! Balance. Refocus. Eight. Nine. Come on. Electric blanket would be more energy efficient. She has a weighted one. She has like 4 blankets, dude. Blankets aren't the issue. I ain't gonna throw her under the bus. That's not nice. God, we got one more of those. Fucking hell. We got one more of those. I'm gonna return you to the normal spot. We'll do our abs, then we'll talk stock market because it's Friday. Oh God. I'm putting in fucking work, I'll tell you that much. I think I need to lie collapse by M&M here. 40 degrees up there, t-shirt and shorts weather. Yeah, it's about 75 here now. Yeah, no, it is unusually, this is April to May weather. To be having this in January is not normal. And it's definitely wreaking havoc with my ability to cool myself off. I mean, I am sweating like a pig. I'm gonna smell like a pig for the rest of the day. Or perhaps, I'm sweating like a pig. I'm definitely gonna smell like a bull. To be more on brand. All right, strong like bull here. Let's go till I collapse by M&M. This is a good boxing workout too. If you guys are looking for good music on martial arts, boxing, this is a good track for that. Last set, we got 10 fucking reps, 155. It's gonna be front lunges, we're gonna hit it. Oh. Lunging with 155, I mean, that's not easy. Last set, come on. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go. Give it all you got. Strong like bull. Give it all you got. No quit. No quit! Come on! 7. 8. 9. 'No, I ain't done. 1 more. Come on. Strong like bull, baby. Yes, sir. I think that was 12. For sure, for sure. Strong like bull, smell like bull. Alright. Let's hit some abs. Some abs. Some abs. Got a fucking problem. M&M fucking hits for those last sets. 50. Come on! Oh. Oh, oh, that hurts. Yeah, yeah. Stand tall. Oh, the dizziness. Okay. Oh, beef. Don't forget what you have left for strength and size for your measurement. Oh, I'm nowhere near my natty ceiling. I reckon my natty ceiling is somewhere around, it'll take me years to get there, 400 for bench, 500 for squat, 600 for deadlift. If I had to guess, I'm nowhere near my natty ceiling. I ain't ever gonna give up too. No, no. Ain't about that. I found my calling, I found my hobby, I found my therapist. It's all here, right here at this fucking iron game, baby. There's nowhere but up to go for me. Only gonna improve, only gonna get better. Any setback is just a challenge that I will defeat. It's no little rainbow, street of dreams. You gotta have that fucking attitude, man. Ain't nobody gonna believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. I keep telling that to Dodge, because she's a really spectacular person, but for whatever reason, she don't have the... There's a difference between high self-esteem and arrogance and believing in yourself. Do anything you set your mind to, but how hard are you willing to work? 16. That's why I'm so proud of you, Mikey. You're fucking coding. You're reinventing yourself. It's really admirable. Two down, 3 to go. What I wanted to be, I know it's a mystery. Do you remember me? On the street of dreams, running through my memory. Keep going. Hell yeah. Journey never fucking stops. The journey is the destination. When you become satisfied, you become complacent. When you become complacent, that's when you become stagnant. When you stagnate, that's when you die. Improvement or death. If you become content, you let yourself stagnate, you're committing a slow suicide. Oh my God, we got a Joe raid. Hell fucking yeah. Believe in each and every one of you. But the key is you gotta believe in yourselves. Welcome on in 333 viewers. She's getting as many viewers as I am squatting pounds. How you doing, my main girl, Joe Workouts? Fantastic to have you in here. Welcome everybody. My name is BullMuscle. I'm a fitness and health streamer here on Twitch. Just like Joe, far less popular, and there's a good reason for that, because Joe's fucking awesome and she's building her own gym. But let me give you a shout out first. Joe, are you doing squats? Joe Workouts. Obviously, if you somehow have found my community and you haven't followed Joe, fix that shit right now and go give her a follow, give her some love, chat. Welcome to the bullpen, everybody. So, we were just finishing up our squat day, 70s powerlifter. So I was doing 5x5 on heavyweight squats, did 4 sets of 355, 1 set of 375, which is a PR for me on 5 rep. I'm pretty happy with that. The goal is to bulk all the way to March 1st. That's why I look a little bit chubby right now. We're on the bulk cycle. I'm really crossing the Rubicon into new territory right now. I want to get stronger. I think my PR on squat right now is either 410 or 415, I forget, but I think I got
at least 425 in me. I'd like to go 440, 450. That would be really killer. Trying to go for a 500-pound deadlift as well. And I'd like to get at least back into the 350 to 360 territory for bench. So those are my numbers. I am natty. I have to be for my job. For those of you who don't know who I am, I talk weightlifting, I talk diet, exercise, I give advice, I talk financial independence. I will be able to retire before I turn 30 years old because I have engineered my finances to allow myself to get investment returns greater than the amount I spend. So loads and loads of good stuff on this channel. By the way, I think Twitch doesn't count raid viewers, so if you can refresh the channel, that helps me out, get the view numbers up. I do appreciate that. She's rushing to make it to the meeting. Oh, all right, yeah, no, I get it. Look, you got to raid and run, I totally understand. I will take good care of your community, I promise. They're Joe workouts. Yeah, she is just awesome, y'all. Please, if somehow you found me but you hadn't followed her, go follow. Joe, one thing I love about Joe is that she gives back to the other fitness and health streamers. You know, she doesn't look down on the smaller channels, and I really admire that. So I'm very grateful. Every time I get a raid from her, definitely makes my day. So I'm very, very appreciative of that. So I'm gonna hit another set of abs. We're gonna carry on, and if you guys have questions, by all means, let me know. Lots and lots to talk about. Let's carry on here. We have 3 more sets of abs, and then we're gonna talk financial fitness, because today is Friday. This is the only time where I am on and the stock market is also open, so I'll talk about that. All right, here we go. Oh. 32. 40. Come on, 20 more. 48. 56. Oh, 60. Super set, come on. Come on. Will we ever meet again, my friend, on the street? 60. Fuck. Fuck. Oh my god, I'm dying here. Come on. Come on, that's 32. Give me 28 more. Oh. God, my abs are on fire. I'm shot, y'all. I got one more ab set, and then we're gonna chill and relax for a bit. Joe comes for the eye candy. Oh, well, no retreat, no surrender. I appreciate that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm very flattered. Joe's very good looking herself, so. Hackerman, thanks for the first time chat. Afternoon, it's still morning here, but not for long. We're almost at noon. Just gonna write down. There we go. Oh. All right, I got one more set. We're gonna do raised leg sits. After that, we're gonna talk philosophy, finances, all that jazz. I am trying to get back into reading. Been working on Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, the ancient Roman philosopher emperor, and it's about Stoicism. So I'm a huge fan of most of what is said in the book. There are a few things I disagree with, but in general, practicing tenets of Stoicism, things like negative visualization, things like releasing your care of what you cannot control,
These are very good practices and I strongly recommend them. So, all right, I'm gonna throw on one more song. I'm gonna throw on Dreams by Van Halen. And for those of you who are wondering why I do not have music, hey, Hackerton, thank you very much for calling. Y'all, for those of you who did come from Joe Workouts, I am very close to 2,000 followers. I would really love to get that, so if you hit that follow button, I am very grateful. You know, if you want to redeem channel points to make me do shit, just ask and it shall be done. You know, I don't really have a reason for 2,000 followers. It's just a big number that I'd like to get. So, let's see here. The reason I can't play music on my streams is because my computer it does not have the power to run both Spotify and OBS, or really anything and OBS. So if I run other things, it gets kind of crunchy. I'd rather it not be crunchy.
Marcus Aurelius is probably the only Roman emperor to practice what he preached.
What a pity it was that his son Commodus did not turn out to be the same kind of man. What a pity. Anyway, let's go ahead and get our last set in. Oh. Come on. Strong like bull. Finish. Oh. Oh, God. There we go. All right. Straight legs, tight abs. Come on, keep legs straight. Come on. Oh, that's cramping. All right, we're done here. Oh, fuck, my vision's all fucked up. Straining there. Yeah, straight up we'll climb. Da, 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 da. Yeah. All right, so it's going right down the protein shake that we had in the course of this workout. That was 380 calories, 64 grams of protein, 7 grams of fat, 17 grams of carbs. Right now I'm on a bulk cycle, so I'm looking for, I'm looking for 4,000-ish calories a day, maybe a little more on a day like today. That was really hard. No, I have never 5-rep 375 before. It felt good. I'm gonna go back and watch the VOD when I'm done, and we'll see if it looked good. That being said, I'm gonna move you back to the standard position to get the mics in order. Give me just a second here. So baby, dry your eyes. Save all the tears you've cried. Oh, that's what dreams. By the way, if you're wondering what music I listen to while I'm working out, stuff from the 70s and 80s. Boomer rock is good shit. Ain't nobody gonna go wrong with Van Halen. Oh, all right. You send me the model number of the laptop. Yeah. Remind me, DM me in Discord. All right, we're turning this down for now. Oh,
it is time to do a little Q&A. So let's talk. How y'all doing? So yeah, you can see there's not much in the way of abdominal definition right now, right? I got a little bit of the chub, but again, peak bulk is gonna happen. Right now I'm weighing about 230. I wanna get to 235, 240. Really hit all-time highs on my numbers, and then I'm gonna have a long cut back to 210. It's gonna be tough. He's gonna be a multi-month cut. Like, I've done the math on this, so I'm looking to get to about 235 to 240 by the end of February. So at that point, March 1st, thereabouts, I'm gonna test all my maxes. This is where I prefer the Hagar years over the David Lee Roth era. So I like 5150 more than any Van Halen album, but overall the David Lee Roth era was better, right? Because you've got Van Halen 1, incredible. Van Halen 2, almost as good. Women and Children First was a little bit of a step down, but still very good. Fair Warning is incredible. Diver Down's underrated. I'm not the biggest 1984 fan, but right, that's 7 amazing albums. At the bare minimum, 7 good albums, 2 amazing albums. Whereas Hagar, the Van Hagar era, only 4. I'd say between 5150 was incredible. That's my favorite Van Halen album. But OU 812 was very good. I'd say it's on the level of Van Halen 2. I didn't care for For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge as much. So I don't think that one is quite as good. And then Balance, I also don't think was as good as anything from the DLR era. So you had 7 great albums versus an incredible album, a very good album, and 2 okay albums. I will say, I think if another band that wasn't Van Halen had produced For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge and Balance, they would have been received a lot better. But it's just because Van Halen had produced such excellent works before that people's expectations were really high. Okay, so let me get the notebook. Oh my god, so everything just fucking hurts right now. My back feels good, which is that's good. You know, you don't want lower back pain after a squat day, but groin, quads, hamstrings, glutes, calves, all extraordinarily sore. That's what you want. So it is Financial Fitness Fridays, and god damn, just gotta catch my breath. We're gonna talk a little bit about financial independence in the markets. We'll see what's going on there, and we'll go that way. So for those of you who don't know about me, I mentioned I will be able to retire before I'm 30. That wasn't, clickbait. Like, that's legit something I will be able to do. And the reasons are very simple. Hang on, let me get there's my Sharpie. I put it over here. Actually, I'm gonna move the notebook down here because I don't need it right now. Oh. We're gonna see what the market's up to first today. So how do I retire early? All right. How to retire early. All right. Okay. How to retire early. Simple answers. Step 1. First one. All right, let me see here. There we go. Take a look at the markets real quick before we go anywhere else. Wow, S&P up again. We're over 4,900. Real close to 5,000 on the S&P, which is fantastic news. That's very good. The rest of my stocks are a pretty mixed bag right now. That's cool. That's fine. All right. So, how to retire early. First step, get a decent job. Okay. I'm not saying you have to make 6 figures in order to retire early. I have never cleared 6 figures from my day job once in any of the years I've worked. I've gotten close, and if you guys want to know what I make, I'll happily talk about that. I'm very open with what I make, how much I save, all of that stuff. But, okay, a decent job. College is optional, okay? This is one that a lot of people don't like to hear, but it's true, okay? In the modern working world, you have to be able to do an ROI. In other words, what is the overall cost I'm going to pay to get this degree, plus the opportunity cost of wages not earned from ages 18 to 22, 23, depending on how long it takes you to get your degree. Okay, so college is extraordinarily optional. Now, if you don't want to go to college, you have to think about what you can start doing to make yourself more valuable in the market. The good news is there is a massive shortage of skilled blue-collar labor, okay? So what is skilled blue-collar labor? Things like mechanics, things like plumbers, carpenters, electricians, right? Now these are positions that are going to involve a fair amount of physical labor and probably outdoor work. Perhaps it's not as pleasant, but sanitary workers, for instance, things like that. Now, those jobs, you're gonna say, oh, well, yeah, you'd have to retire early because your body will be physically broken if you continue to do that till your 60s. That's as may be. But if you start at age 18 in a skilled blue-collar trade like that, by the time you're hitting 30 or even 35, you are going to be able to get into a management or a supervisory role, or even start your own business, helping, hiring, young trainees to do that job, right? It's not that hard to make your way up with that much experience in a skilled blue-collar trade. There just aren't enough workers to do the jobs. That's why housing costs have gone up in terms of like construction, right? The 2008 crash killed the construction industry, and it took a long time, right? Those 2008 to 2012 years, basically no construction got done. As a result, we have a shortage of housing now, combined with other reasons. We'll get into that. But as a result, wages for construction workers have gone up because there aren't as many, because a lot of them left the industry in 2008, for instance, okay? There's another one. Yeah, now if you want to learn to code, right, there are certs that you can get that are probably a lot more valuable at this stage than the computer science degree. It's not universal. There are some places that still are old-fashioned and prefer to have a degree. There are a lot of employers in the computer space now that recognize a 4-year degree is not the only way to get computer science or coding talent. A lot of people are going with things like Google Certs. You've got MOOCs. There are affordable alternatives to college. Now, if you do want to go to college, that's fine, as long as, again, you can justify a return on investment. And if you want to go to college for a liberal arts degree, my warning to you is that very few of those will justify the cost. Now, what I will say, a much wiser approach is to you want to go for 4 years in college, get a major in something that has a better economic prospect, and minor in your humanities or in your economics, which is what I did, or minor in your liberal arts. Just my opinion, okay? If you're one other thing, if you're a truly talented creator, like an artist, college is not going to give you the skills to be the best artist you can be. That's just going to be draw or paint or whatever. Go do that, honestly. You're going to be better off with 4 years of working as an artist, 4 years of extra work experience over that degree, for instance. Google itself will take Google Certs. Yep. And once you get Google or another FANG on your resume, yeah, you're going to work like a dog for 2 years, but every company will want to hire you once you've got a FANG on your degree or on your resume. And that multiple years work at a FANG, FANG is Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Netflix, I think. But you get the idea, right? So you can speed run your degrees. Community college is another way to offset the cost. You don't need to spend 4 years at a major, in-state university if you don't want to. I did, but that's because I chose mechanical engineering, a degree which does offer a good return on investment, okay? So that's the first step. Get a job that pays $50K or more. Now, if you're working skilled, apprenticeship, right? That first couple of years, yeah, you're probably not making $50K. You're probably making 30 to 40. But after a few years work experience, if you know what the fuck you're doing and you've gotten a few certs, you'll be clearing 50, especially if you work any overtime, which you'll get paid time and a half for. In the blue collar world, generally speaking, that still happens, okay? So that's step one on getting a decent job, all right?
right now too, okay, before people say, oh, but this economy is so difficult. Unemployment rates now are the lowest they've been since the late 1960s. I have a hard time buying that, okay? Look, Gen Z, shut the fuck up, okay? This is little hard, tough love from my millennial ass. And I was very lucky. I was the tail end of the millennials. I didn't have to deal with this. But the older millennials will tell you, if you had to go into the workforce in 2009, you were fucked. You were properly and royally fucked, okay? So the people born in the mid to late 1980s still have lower net worth levels, lower income levels, lower everything levels relative to the people born years after. And that's just bad. That's bad luck. But if they were able to, if millennials from that era were able to make it work and survive, you're able to survive in, again, the best job market since the late 1960s. Yeah, the tech sector is an anomaly. The tech sector overheated itself in 21 and 22 and had to do some layoffs due to the rising interest rates. But in general, unemployment rates are extremely low right now. That is a statistical fact. I mean, I think even the highest unemployment states right now are below 6%. Which is historically, again, below average. So you want to say, oh, but the U6 unemployment rate's higher. Okay, but the U6 unemployment rate was higher in 2009 as well, right? You got to compare apples to apples. In general, the economy is doing really well right now, okay? So that's step one. Get a decent job. And every single one of you is capable of doing that, I promise, okay? And here's how I know. My wonderful roommate, Dodger Zion, did not have much in the way of skills to her name, okay? She didn't get a college degree. She ended up dropping out of college for reasons that are private, but she got a clerical job at, local government agency, right? And is she making killer money right now? No, but is she making enough to support herself? Yeah, she is. She's on that step. Is she on that step later than a lot of people are? Yeah, but you know what? She's still doing great. She's still doing on her job. Right, so enter the workforce in 08. Exactly. Like Omega Black, but you're doing better now, right? That's the thing. The whining from the newest generations, I know I sound like a fucking boomer when I say this, but good Lord, y'all are so entitled. Compared to 2008, like the early millennials got fucked over so much harder than you. The modern economy is actually pretty decent. Now, okay, so you've got a decent job, okay? Let's say you're making 50K plus out of college because you chose a degree that has a good ROI, or you worked for a few years in a trade school, now you're age 22, but because you've got 4 years of work experience, you're clearing 50K, or just about, right? Now 50K won't get you very far in a high cost of living area unless you're very diligent about step number 2. And it's the step nobody likes. Reduce consumption, okay? Don't spend money you don't have to buy shit you don't need to impress people you don't really like. I know that sounds really trite, almost condescending, but it is the truth. Ultimately, you actually really don't need a ton to survive. Now, is healthcare really expensive? Yes. However, thanks to Obamacare, if you're making less than 50 grand, you can get it subsidized through the federal marketplace. If you're making more than 50 grand, well, that's not your problem. You're making enough to get it yourself through either a company or, independently. It sucks. But let's talk about the 3 biggest consumption pieces, okay? First one, kind of obvious. Housing, okay? There are 2 methods of doing this, all right? The first is to buy less housing. If you say you need a 3-bed, you probably don't unless you got a family of 6 or a family of 7. You got to remember, right, in the 50s and 60s, the average number of people per household was substantially higher than it is now, and people lived just fine in the 50s and 60s. You don't need a 3-bedroom house if you're one person. Now, that may sound like hypocrisy because I own a 3-bedroom house and I am one person. This is where you get
Roommates or house hacking? Yup. Just because you're out of college doesn't mean you have to stop living as frugally as you did in college. And if you choose to continue living efficiently, get roommates, right? All of a sudden, let's say you've got a $2,000 a month mortgage, right? That's an expensive thing. That's a lot of money right there. That's $24,000 a year tied up in your mortgage. But if it's on a, if it's in a multi-bedroom home and you can get someone in there, say, splitting rent, paying you $1,000 or $1,200 a month in rent, all of a sudden you've just slashed your expenses by more than $10,000 a year. If you're making $50K, that's 20% of your money. Tax-free if you're really clever about it. In the sense that, it's not tax-free per se, but right, reducing your expenses means you're going to reduce your mortgage. There's lots of things you can do with the taxes. Ultimately, I wouldn't really worry too much about that. But the point here is that if you have too much house for yourself, if you have a lot of just stuff, that's where you're going to want a roommate. I'll tell you, right, I don't need roommates here, but because I've chosen them, my housing costs are almost zero. They're very, very low. And you got to remember, right, if you do this too, you can also go with, if you're willing to house hack to lower your effective cash flow out every month. One of my favorite techniques, the 15-year mortgage. Mortgage can roughly be translated from French to death lock, and there's a reason for that. A 30-year loan, God, I've even seen 50 and 60-year loans can be a really tough proposition. You're paying multiple times in interest what you're paying in principal. You have a 15-year loan, you are going to slash the amount of total interest you pay because you're loaning the money out for a lot less time. I chose a 15-year loan because I bought a house I could afford, and I've got roommates to help cover the higher the higher payments I have to make every month. Very easy to do. 15-year mortgage will unlock lower interest rates. Lower interest rates means lower expenses. Consider equity as a form of illiquid savings. All right? So that's a couple ideas on housing, okay? The other thing with housing, okay, if you live in a market that is so fucked up that renting is far cheaper than buying a house, don't buy a house, continue renting. This mostly applies to California. If you live in California and you're trying to buy a house right now, I wouldn't. I would wait till the next recession before doing so. That is a massive bubble and it will pop. Housing in California is insanity. It is so unaffordable that it really does make better economic sense to rent there and rent as little housing as you can get away with. It's not perfect, but it is a solution. Okay. Transportation. That's number 2. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot. The Interstate Highways Act of 1956 and its consequences were a disaster for American society. I still agree with that. My best method here is min-maxing, okay? If you can avoid you owning a car, the amount of money you will save in terms of maintenance, in terms of insurance, in terms of obviously gasoline, in terms of having a car payment, which you may have to put interest on, I strongly recommend avoiding that and just drive an indestructible economy shitbox until you can afford to buy something nicer outright. Speaking of, my indestructible economy shitbox actually had a tire pressure monitor sensor fail recently. It's not a critical thing that bricks the car, but it is an annoyance. I went to the dealership to figure out, okay, what needs to be replaced. It's a little battery inside this sensor. This kind of irritates me, GM, because it is a government requirement that all cars have those after the Firestone scandal with the Ford Explorer in the late 90s. As a result of that, it's another cost that is baked into the car, and when they fail, and usually they do fail in the first 10 years, you have to replace that. Well, they quoted me $400 to do that, and that's a fuck you. That's a go-away price. So I'm not going to do that. I'll go find a local tire shop to handle it for me. as a result, right, that's a $400 expense that I've got plenty of money to cover it because I save a lot of my money, but it's a cost associated with automobile ownership. That's a cost if you ride public transit, you don't have to worry about. Better still, if you can bike to work, that is king behavior right there. Bicycles turn, instead of burning gasoline to get somewhere or consuming electricity to get somewhere, or even, you know, spending money on subway tokens to get somewhere, you're burning the fat off your own ass to get somewhere. That's what's called a win-win. Bicycles are amazing. If you can cycle somewhere, fucking do it. Yes, it's a little more dangerous in the US than it ought to be, but get involved in local politics is the answer. Start advocating for cycling. Really, cycling is such a no-brainer, and it makes 90% of our fattening infrastructure unnecessary. Our infrastructure in this country is stupidly car dependent. I know I sound like fucking soy boy, not just bikes, but he's correct. We don't have to do things in this country the way we are. But that's number 2, okay? Minimize automobile usage. If you must own an automobile, for instance, I have to because I live out in the sticks. I live in a town of under 2,000 people. I have to go to work at a place where there's no way to cycle to my job. It's an inevitability. So what have I chosen to buy? Well, I chose to buy a Chevy Volt. It is an indestructible economy shitbox that I barely have to refuel. I get, 50-ish miles on the battery around town, and that's enough to get the job done. Speaking of, I'm actually going to plug it back in. No, no water. Yeah, I didn't spill that much. Excuse me. I'm going to plug that back in. So I get about 50 miles on the battery, and then beyond that, I got a little 4-cylinder engine. It gets me, depending on how fast I'm rolling it, between 40 and 45 miles to the gallon, which is terrific. It means I barely have to pay for much of anything in gas. Same thing with maintenance. Because I'm usually using the electric battery most of the time, I have to go, I've never needed to bring the brakes in for a service because I barely use the brake pads because of regen braking. For instance, I don't have to do things like spark plugs or timing belts or timing chains as often, right? Because my car's got 90-odd thousand miles on it, but only about 40 to 50,000 of those miles have actually been on the engine. So the engine is in much better shape than if it were a conventional gasoline-powered car. I want to go electric. I don't know what I want. I think I want an SUV. Don't buy an SUV. Don't do that. Yeah. No, I agree. It's a joke. I knew they were going to give me a fuck you price, but I didn't think it was going to be that much of a fuck you price. But yeah, no, I'll take to my local mechanic. I was never going to do that. No. But the dealer was useful in telling me what went wrong with it. And, they said, the reason, I'm like, that's some terrible engineering, They're like, yeah, the only reason cars have that is because there's a government regulation that says cars have to have it, and lo and behold, there is. Do I think GM should have maybe made those little batteries inside the sensors a bit more robust so that way they didn't fail after 6 years of ownership? Yeah, but I'm not gonna criticize GM over that. This car has been rock solid reliable, and it's not bricking the car. It just means I don't know what temperature my tires are at unless I actually take a manual gauge and do it the way people did in the 90s. But yeah, you can thank Ford and Firestone for this stupidity. The reason I'm thinking SUV is because I'm thinking about being a digital nomad. Then you don't want an SUV, you want a van. Vans give you far more interior space for far less cost. Frankly, if I were you, Big Game Mikey, especially if you want to be a digital nomad and work out a lot of more rural, remote areas where you won't have access to charging, look at the Toyota Sienna. That is a van that will get you damn near 40 miles per gallon, and well, it's a Toyota. It's going to last forever. So I'm a big fan of. I wish a lot of Toyotas looked better. They're finally fixing a lot of them. The Avalon's still pretty hideous because it looks like a catfish. The Corolla looks good. The new Prius looks amazing. I can't. It doesn't. Those words feel terrible coming out of my mouth. They feel wrong, but the new Prius looks good. I can't believe that's actually a reality here in 2024, but it's true. The Sienna's fantastic. If you want to buy American Chrysler as a Pacifica hybrid, but Do you trust Chrysler with your electrics? I don't. I absolutely don't. There's a reason Chrysler kind of has a bit of a downer for long-term reliability. I would not buy a Mopar product unless it were. The Ram 1500 is okay in the sense of that Hemi engine will last a good long time, but still, you shouldn't be buying a Ram 1500. There is no reason to own a Ram 1500. There's nothing that vehicle does better than any other vehicle in the market. Not necessarily going rural, just not a fixed location. Electric box fan would be cool. They don't have any electric. Give it a few more years, but I would strongly look at the Toyota Sienna. The new Land Cruiser kicks ass, but that you have to be willing to put up with 15 miles to the gallon. Now, a Land Cruiser will last longer than fucking Methuselah. Those might be the single most reliable vehicles you can buy because they're still built in Japan. That's why you have to pay a fuck ton of money to buy a new Land Cruiser. But they are very thirsty. I mean, they have a naturally aspirated V8 in there that is detuned, doesn't make a ton of power, but again, no vehicle, I think the Toyota Land Cruiser might be the single most reliable vehicle money can buy. I personally would not recommend owning one because, again, the costs of gasoline are hideous. If I was going to go for an overlanding rig or something like that, Toyota Sienna would be my pick. Unless I wanted to go, if I was okay with consuming a bit more fuel and I wanted something a bit more conventional, Chevrolet Express. Is it going to be as reliable as a Toyota? Probably not. Will parts be cheaper than a Toyota? You're damn right they will be, because Chevrolet and GMC have been cranking out Expresses and Savannas since the first Clinton administration term. And the chassis has remained the same. They've updated the engines, but the Express is a very popular vehicle among tradesmen for a reason. It just works. It's that simple. It's crude, but it's bone simple to work on. You've got either a 6-cylinder or an LS engine under there. You can't beat it. You can't beat an Express for what it does. And it's cheap too. You can, relative to like a Transit, an Express is very affordable. My Toyota Tacoma. Oh yeah, the Taco is a fantastically reliable truck, but thirsty. And the Tacoma, I will say the Tacoma is the resale king. The amount of money you will get back if you ever sell that Tacoma is way higher than any other 2012 car. But the problem with the Taco is that, yeah, it's thirsty. I don't know, I think I want a BEV vehicle. I have a lot to catching up to do before I'm buying a new car. Amen to that. Again, I strongly take a look at a Toyota Sienna if you're really looking for space and economy. The Sienna is a fantastic car. Strongly recommend the Sienna. Again, Toyota's been doing these hybrids since 2000, really, with the late 90s since the first Prius. And I will say, in terms of hybrid tech being very reliable, I think Toyota does it better than anyone else. Credit where it's due. This hybrid, my Volt, GM has done very well. Unfortunately, GM axed the Volt due to low sales in 2019 because Americans are fat and like big fat vehicles, and the Volt is a compact car. That's the other thing. Cars themselves have gotten obese. Cars have gotten very fat in terms of size. Okay, so that's the second one. Minimize the amount of car you need. If you have to own a car, ideally bike somewhere. If you can't do that, public transit. If you can't do that, don't buy a stupid car. You know what a stupid car is. A Dodge Charger with a 6-liter V8, any full-size pickup truck, stuff like that. I like boxy cars. That's as fair, and a lot of people really like Subarus for that reason, but you're going to pay an aerodynamic and fuel economy penalty every time you turn the ignition on one of those. 3. Third and final one. Partners. All right? This is a bit of an ugly truth, but most people don't like to hear it. If you have a partner who is a massive spendthrift, getting enough savings in order to retire early is not going to happen. You have to have someone, if you have a significant other in your life, the significant other must be on the same page as you. You cannot sit there and say, I want to try to retire early, and have your partner say, I want to spend all my money going out and buying new fashion, or spending a lot on a luxury car, or buying a really nice house that's maybe a bit bigger than you need, or
you know, going out to eat every fucking week at a 5-star restaurant, things like this, right? If you're doing that, that partner is not going, you're going to have problems. And if you're married and you're a man, yikes, you've really stepped in it now, because divorce is going to clobber your finances, especially if you're male. Now, if you're female and your man is acting, you know, stupid with his money, fucking, I don't want to say slay queen here, but like, yeah, fucking get your man in order. He's most of the time, I'm not stereotyping, most of the time it's the woman that's doing more of the spending, but sometimes men spend money on stupid fucking shit. Boats that they can't afford, trucks that they can't afford, you know, hobbies like that. And it's just, you've got to, all I'm saying is, you've got to fucking have a partner who's on the same page with you financially. And if you haven't had that talk with a partner that you're thinking about, you know, wifing or husbanding, have that conversation. Because it's, money matters, I think, are like the second or third most popular reason behind divorce. So you don't want to go through that, especially if you've got kids. Jesus Christ, no. You definitely need to have this down pat. It can be, this one, it's not even just a retirement thing. This is just a general life happiness suggestion. If you and your partner have very different opinions on money, it is, I wouldn't even call it a red flag. I would call it a relationship ender. Like, it's more than a red flag. If you are a spendthrift and you don't want to change your ways, and your partner is very frugal, and he or she doesn't want to change, or they don't want to change their ways, that's going to create friction. It's going to create tension. Is that 150K plus? No, just 50K. I personally believe that most people in the United States, if they work hard, can get a $50,000 a year job. I do. It's not going to be easy, but yeah, there are enough open skilled blue collar trade jobs out there to where $50,000 a year is something I think most Americans can achieve. Now, that $50,000 a year, let's talk about location. We're talking about this with housing, right? $50,000 a year ain't going to get you anywhere in San Francisco. But if you're taking a job in San Francisco for that little money, you really need to ask yourself what it is you're doing, and if you can't get a better deal somewhere else. If you can only get 50 grand a year and you're in the Bay Area or New York City, my recommendation is to move. I live in a very rural area, and there are sacrifices, especially in the dating world, that I've had to make for that. I mean, I'm not trying to be immodest, but right, I'm fairly fucking strong. And I'm in the dating equivalent of the Sahara here. But I can save 80% of my income because, well, my things to do are lift, right? Go out for hikes. Hiking is free, right? Make wine. Well, I've got grapes on my property. Very easy to do. You know, go to local football games. Pretty affordable as long as you know, don't go to the big college FBS ones. Things like that. What's Friday's vibe? Gotta know. Investing, mostly. I got a couple chores I need to do, but nothing crazy. There are studies that show successful relationships can be correlated with how close credit scores are. It's true. The JW from Vermont wants to bring back the Brat. That was the height of cool for me. Dude, the Brat was a fucking awesome truck, but it won't ever come back because the government has made sure you can't build a truck like that in 2024. Federal safety and environmental regulations mean a truck like the Brat can't come back. Small trucks won't ever come back. The fact that the Maverick has done as well as it has is a pleasant surprise. The Maverick is more truck than most people need. Did you say resting or investing? Honestly, both. Yeah, fuck the chicken tax. The chicken tax is responsible for a large part of this. The other part of it is, again, good government intentions gone wrong, corporate average fuel economy. CAFE regulations for trucks are far, far easier than they are for cars. As a result, the CAFE regulations were imposed in the fuel crisis days of the late 70s under the Carter administration. Well, as a result, in the 80s and the 90s, American manufacturers got wise to this and said, what if we just started cranking out massive SUVs that we claimed as light trucks that, drank fuel like pigs? And then they cranked out lots of SUVs that drank fuel like pigs, and that's why the Ford Explorer became extremely popular in the 90s. And the Chevy Suburban, and the Jeep Cherokee. And whatever the fuck Chrysler was doing. The Durango, I guess. You get the idea. Oh, sorry, I had a wedgie. It's hot and sticky and humid in here. So do we have any other financial questions? Otherwise, I'm going to probably look to raid someone. Yeah. What bothers me, too, about Chrysler in particular is Chrysler had a CEO that taught them to know better in the 80s with Lee Iacocca and the K car. Yeah, the K car was unsexy. The K car was I'll put it this way. The K car was the automotive world what the original, like, black Casio F91W was to watches. It may be square, it may be ugly, but you know what? It's cheap, it's reliable enough, and it's efficient. It's not going to give you a hard time, right? It's stuff like that. Lots of tech bros drive G-Wagons because of their weight. Lots of tech bros piss away the giant salaries they have. And then they go ask the government for help in the form of, temporary jobless assistance when they, have all these massive expenses they've signed up for and suddenly don't have the salary to pay for them. Lee Iacocca was too good for Chrysler. What safe ETFs do you invest in? Okay, so what we've talked about here is cutting down expenses. So get a good job, lower your expenses. So what do you do with the money what do you do with all this money that you're saving? And this is God's blankie, we're going to talk about that. Conservative, okay, but the average household income in the United States is substantially over $50,000, and the average income in the United States is already over $40,000. We're pretty close to it here in the States already. The G-Wagon is a tax write-off because of the weight. This is poor government policy right there is what I'm going to say about that. But God's blankie, let's talk about this. Investments. Because yes, okay, so you've cut expenses and you're making decent money. What are you gonna do with all of it? Investment, okay? I'm a huge fan of what's called Boglehead investing. This is named after the famous investor Jack Bogle, the guy who founded Vanguard. Vanguard is the 1993 Toyota Corolla of investment brokerages. It's unsexy, but it's dead reliable. It's not going to give you the casino-like atmosphere that something like, I don't know, Robinhood does. Don't use Robinhood, okay? You can find a better investment brokerage than that. Don't go with Robinhood, and stay away from options. Options are like lottery tickets. Well, okay, I may be a bit of a hypocrite here because I sell options to a lot of idiots that buy them and then make money off of that. But as a huge watch collector, everyone, even Rolex fanboys, has a F-91W in their collection. Again, the F-91W is the Dodge Aries of watches. It's ugly, but there's a reason it serves a very good niche in the world, right, so to speak. Okay, so let's talk about this, right? So what investments in particular? My biggest and most important one I recommend is VTI. If Vanguard is the 1993 Toyota Corolla of investment brokerages, the underlying engine, I forget is it the 4AGE? Is that the one that was real famous that Toyota fanboys creamed themselves over? I don't know. But the engine is VTI. What does VTI do? It is a low-cost index fund that I think it's 0.03% or something like that as an expense ratio, which is $3 out of every 10,000 you invest, which is the best in the industry as far as I'm aware. Might be 0.02, I don't know. But either way, that is the VTI basically mirrors the S&P 500. So what you're doing when you buy VTI is you are getting a little fraction of a share in every single major corporation in America. Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, GM, GE, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, you get it, right? Union Pacific, BNSF, FedEx, whatever, right? So you're getting, actually FedEx might be private, but still you get the point. That is going to be your bread and butter. Now, you want to diversify a little bit. Oh, Bulldogs, hey, welcome on in. Casio is to watches what Vanguard is to invest in God tier. I wouldn't say, I guess, right? I got a basic arrangement here. I would consider something like a Garmin because it'd be giving me a little bit more data, but because I can't wear Bluetooth devices to my job, I got to keep it relatively simple. Also because I feel like it looks pretty cool. It's ugly, but it's in a kind of a bulky, you know, tough kind of way. This feels a little bit more like the Toyota Land Cruiser watches, frankly, if I'm going to be using a metaphor here. So yeah, Vanguard ETF. As far as if you have 50% of your money in a Vanguard ETF, TSM actually, I actually have. Let's see, do the math on this. Housing equity is a good chunk of my portfolio because, right, I own a house, but Vanguard ETFs probably make up north of 50% of my money as well. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to do the math on this in my head. Probably around 66%. Probably about 2/3 of my money is in basic Vanguard ETFs. Now, VTI is the one I like the most, but I also like diversifying. So, you know, you can also go with bonds. Right now, Vanguard's money market is offering 5.5%. So 5.5% is better than you're going to do with most bonds. So would I consider moving towards bonds if, let's say, that market interest rate changes? Yeah, but, you know, if you're saying you prefer your AP, is that Almar's Pig? I don't know how to say that. That really nice French watch company, or they might be Swiss. I don't know, but those are supposed to be real good. Decent dividends for the money market, yeah. VTI gives you, it's like S&P 500, so it's like between 1% and 3%, depends on the year. If you like international diversity, VXUS, you're going to pay slightly more in your expense ratio for VXUS, but you know, if you want Siemens, if you want Toyota, if you want you know, all the international companies, you want a little bit of international diversity, VXUS is a good bet. I have a little money in that. I think America is far better than most of the rest of the world. What did you expect here? I am a patriotic American, so most of my investments are in American companies. I invest in the United States because I believe in the United States. Now, let's talk about dividends. One of my favorite other Vanguard investment strategies is VYM. VYN is the High Dividend Index Fund. So this is going to give you companies that put out pretty good dividends. I think Home Depot is a big part of VYM. I think there are several REITs. No, REITs is VNQ, excuse me. But all your companies that put out a lot of dividends are going to be in VYM. I only allow 1% of my portfolio to a specific country besides USA. I'm a little bit, AP is in, okay, Audemars Piguet? Piguet? I don't fucking know how to say it. Again, I'm not a watch nerd. I can appreciate a really nice watch, but, right, this is, as far as I'm concerned, this bad boy is everything you need. And frankly, a lot of stuff you don't, right? A basic square G-Shock will probably do everything you really need it to do. But this one has a barometer, which I use, that you guys see. I put it over there to measure temperature in here. It has a compass, an altimeter, which are nice backup tools if you're going hiking and your phone craps out on you, for instance. But, you know, it's solar. It's built like a fucking tank, so I like it. It's, again, I would call it maybe like, I would call... Most G-Shocks, I would call them like the Toyota Land Cruiser watches. They're ugly. They're, you know, they're kind of bulky, but they're gonna last forever. Built like a tank, just like its owner. Well, I appreciate that. So other ones here. VNQ is real estate. VB, I believe, is your small caps. VO is your mid caps. I might have that backwards. I forget. But those are going to be a little bit more diversity. So VTI, right? That's your S&P 500. Those are your big American corporations. VB and VO are your purple chips and your red chips, right? Those are going to be middle cap and smaller cap that don't quite make it into the S&P 500, but companies that you'd see in something like the Russell 2000, just as an example. So that's more or less it on the how to retire early front. It's not that hard. Just save shit tons of money and then invest the money in broad-based index funds, and you'll do okay. It's very, very simple. Look, it's not hard to it's not hard to figure out. It really isn't. I know a lot of people say that's very reductive advice, and to an extent it is, right? I've got to make it fit on a fucking whiteboard. But the point here is that, also, give me a shout out to my boy Lab. Love it.
The point here is that, in my opinion, in this country, getting a $50,000 job is something almost everyone can do. You don't need to have a college degree to get a $50,000 job. If you work in a skilled trade, you'll get there pretty quickly after a couple of years. You don't get into meme stocks. I have one or two meme stocks that I kind of like as far as long-term buys, but yeah, no, a majority of my I'm not going out there and putting 50% of my portfolio in fucking GameStop. No, I'm not doing that. Anywho, but in general, I think you can get a $50,000 job in this country if you work pretty hard, fairly easily. Again, carpentry, plumbing, a lot of the skilled blue-collar trades you don't need a college degree for, but you can do it. Instructions on clear. Took out payday loans for calls on RE Automotive. I am actually really bullish on RE. They just got certified with a dealer out in the Bay Area, so hopefully that means they're going to start like San Jose, Fremont. They're going to start seeing a lot of orders from RE. So I think they have a really good underlying product. I can talk about RE if you guys want. I'm also going to put this up real quick. You own Canoe, unfortunately. I think RE's a better product if you ask me. Check out RE if you're looking for something better than Canoe. So go ahead and take a picture of this if you want. I'm going to go ahead and wipe it down now. All right, one last time. There you go. All right. If you didn't get it, you can watch a VOD later and wipe and get it. So really, it's not that hard in terms of actually getting it done. A lot of people like to complain instead of put their nose to the grindstone and work hard enough to see financial success. Now I will say, right, there are people born with privilege, there are people who aren't, yada, yada, yada. I get that, but most Americans are capable of getting to that. I'll clip it. Well, I appreciate that. Again, if you don't, it's not a big deal. I've written that same screed down a lot of different times on here. As far as other things we want to talk about today, so we've already talked stocks, we've already talked financial independence, we've hit our weightlifting. Bro, Lab Boys, 375 for 5 reps today. Yeah. But do we have any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to probably look to raid somebody here because we're getting a little bit later in the day here. TSM, if you're looking for, I've talked about RE Automotive a lot. I put it in the stockyard. If you guys are curious about that one, let me know. Just ask me on the Discord, which if you guys somehow haven't found yet, we're gonna go there. All right. So who do we got here? We got Supernatural, Coel. I'm going to go ahead and I think we'll go Supernatural because she's pretty fucking awesome. Girl rated us. We had a rated girl. That seems fair. I'm going on a hike with my cousin. I can't wait. Dude, it's going to be almost 80 here. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go out for a long hike. Keep my eye on RE. Might buy into it. I'm pretty bullish on it. I think it's got a lot of potential. It's gonna either go, in my opinion, right? It's at about $5-ish a share right now. I think RE is either going to hit triple digits or it's going to be worth nothing by 2026. I'm pretty bullish that they can capture the 1% of the market they're looking to do, which means they're going to have, if they do that, they're going to be at least a market cap of, right, I think they've already got 40 odd, right? The amount of orders they've got on the books is equivalent to their entire market cap. I think if they're able to capture 1% of the market, they're going to have more like 500 mil a year in terms of total sales. And if they're doing that, the market cap should rise at least to that level. And if that happens, RE will be well over $50 a share. So it's a 10-bagger. If RE can execute on what they intend to do, it'll be a 10-bagger. If they can't, well, and they go bankrupt, it's a risk. It is a brand new company. If they can't execute and nobody buys the product, well, that's capitalism. It's a risk. As long as they don't pull Lordstown Motors and cook the books, I don't think they have. They've got very little debt. They've got a cash reserve of over 100 mil, and their underlying product is supposed to be break even by end of this year. So I think RE has better finances than the vast majority of ex-SPAC companies. I've done deep dives on RE on this channel in the past, but I'm not going to do that here because we've already done a lot of financial talking. And frankly, I could use a rest and I could use some lunch. I got to keep bulking, right? Chubby, 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 chubby. Fatty, 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 fatty. God, I'm going to look like, I already look like a fucking tubbo right now. But, yeah, can use pre-orders are worth more than the market cap. Well, again, anyway. All right, we're going to raid Supernatural, y'all. This has been a lot of fun, though. Let's go ahead and head on over to hers. Big fatty boom balati bull chub bull thick. Well, again, I'm bulking. I waited at 230 this morning, so I'm going for 235 to 240. I knew I was going to look like this. I don't like it, but I've accepted it. The cut is going to suck major donkey dick, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to look fucking good, though. If I can keep on the muscle I'm putting on right now, I'm going to look really good at 210. So we're going to raid Super. Is it capital S? It is. Okay. Fat as fuck, loving every minute of it. Facts, bro. Supernatural writer. All right, we're going to raid Supernatural. She's pretty great. She does a lot of creative stuff, Pomodoro technique, a lot of writing, all sorts of stuff like that. Stop drinking alcohol. I have. I've been dry ever since 2023 ended, so... we're going to raid Supernatural Writer, y'all. She's awesome. Give her some love. Raid messages Bull Rush. If y'all want more, come talk on the Discord. I'll be live again. Same time, same place, 9 a.m. tomorrow. And in the meantime, make good decisions. Those good decisions form your actions. Those actions form your habits. Those habits form your values. Those values form an ethos to be the guide star through the rough waters of life. Much love, y'all. Come in for the hug. Oh, big bull hug. And raid ski. Bull rush. All right, YouTube. It's been fun. Cheers.